Are you in the Disney Lorcana?
Welcome to the ICL on a Wednesday. Tonight we have Enter the Battlefield versus Atlas, ATL US. Who knows, but we will shortly. How are you doing tonight, Miss Colors Law, Destroyer of Worlds, if I remember correctly?
I am doing well. Excited to be here on Wednesday of the ICL and to figure out if if it is Atlas or if it is just maybe Atlanta potentially.
Yeah, possibly. And I forgot to ask our other caster what amazing intro they would like, so they get to wing their own right now.
Let's go. You have Colors Law, Destroyer of Worlds. Willoughby's True Believer. That's right. I'm still stuck on the alien card from Wilds Unknown. I just love it so much. And that Enchanted has finally gone down. Do I buy it, guys? Let me know in the comments below.
There's me. This is always
it's got to be really expensive still, right?
I literally went to go look. I was like, well, hold up.
Last I checked, it was 300. Okay. That's good. That's down from the 4 something.
I saw it for 250 the night of release, and I was like, "Do I need that? That seems like a lot." And lightly played is 337. Oh, huge regrets. I should have snapped that off immediately. Because I was like, "Do I really want this? Like 250 for the alien? That might be okay." Now, she hasn't been under 300 since the day we met her.
Yeah.
But welcome! It's Wednesday. It's me
and on a
Wednesday. And Luke. Yeah, that's what I love. Well, I love casting with you because I could be like, it's me and Willoughby's, and then like that's the best. That's the closest to.
It was such a nice like inflection up, and then you go and Luke.
Because it didn't rhyme.
It's like wow.
It didn't rhyme.
Wow.
It didn't rhyme. I needed it to rhyme, but we're all here.
Vonderland and Willoughby's and Colors Law.
See?
Ooh, okay. If you start with the Wonderland, I see that.
It's Luke and me and Willoughby's.
But we're here
whenever you say it, it's just like, and whoever the third person is.
It's because I think I run out of steam, you guys. That's what it is. I'm like, this is me up here, and I'm old and tired. So
we can't run out of steam yet. We haven't even started. We're starting out tonight on a heater. ETB, former ICL champions. You know them, you love them. Okay. Newly created alien song. Right? They've got Habibi on their team. And then against some newcomers here, Atlas, I think, is very smart. And then maybe it's just a coloring thing. But I did read it as ATL US. So hopefully they win and we get to chat with them. But I love newcomers coming into the ICL. I think this is a great place to see top contenders that you know and love, and then also get familiar with new faces, because when you have upsets like Additional Ink against world-class cards, you'll never forget it, and then they go on to make an awesome run and everybody's rooting for them. It's like really helps put some names on the map, and then it's like, who would have thunk those guys have people who top DLCs and what have you.
Yeah. Absolutely. And a lot of these teams have players that are making day 2 and DLCs, you know, like just because you haven't heard of them because they haven't won one yet does not mean they're not like a highly competitive and great player. And we have a lot of them here.
100%.
Absolutely, yeah. There might even be situations where some people haven't had the chance to get to DLCs yet, but hopefully now next season 64 CCQs and a bunch more DLCs will have way more known names, and we can always claim like, hey, they got their start here. But we're just gonna claim you anyway. You have your own accomplishments, but here on the ICL, you belong to us now. I'm just kidding. But
wow.
I'm really excited here because we have ETB and somebody in the chat tell us, is it Atlas or is it ATL US? Because Atlas would save us a lot of time. But we're going to get to see if these are two titans that are going to go head to head, or if this is going to be, you know, like I think I said it earlier, like the movie Space Jam, where one team and you're just like, oh dear. So we're going to find out. We're going to find out.
We have 3 minutes and we didn't do this yesterday. Color, who do you predict going to win?
I hate this game, but let's see.
How about this? Which team name do you think's gonna win, Atlas or ATL?
I think if they come out strong out of the gate, if it is Atlas, it's a clever play on words. So they got a bunch of clever people on the team. If it is ATL US and they are literally from Atlanta in the United States, that's not enough. It's not enough.
Well,
you need a little bit more clever.
It is both.
Oh my god, it's infinite clever, obviously.
Super clever.
Yep, ATLUS Lorcana. They've been established in 2025. It's 2026, and they're now making their mark. So I think today's that day.
Today's the day.
Today's the day.
No, listen, if it's wordplay, that's awesome. Okay, let's see it. I always do the opposite of what my co-caster has done, so we're gonna go ETB. If you look back, watch the tapes. That is what I always do. We're gonna go ETB, tried and true. Hopefully they know what they're doing, because they've been doing it long enough here at the ICL.
They might have been established in 2024. So
yeah.
So ETB has notorious for having an almost spotless Swiss record in every season they've played in. They almost never drop a match, let alone a game. So they're really the fan favorites. But realistically, the question is, do I still have the caster curse? Let's find out, because I'm going to root for ETB, and we're going to see if I'm cursing them or not here.
Yeah, it'll be difficult to upset such a squeaky clean record like that one, but maybe Wonderland's bad luck is just so bad that it'll rub off on the curse there. Also, you gotta love to see an underdog story, right? Like ATLUS, they've clearly been playing for a while, and this is their first time in the ICL, but it doesn't mean it's their first time on the cards. Okay, so I'm excited to see what they bring
in the zone. Yeah, in the game. Yeah, I'm excited to see as well, and especially after Luke was like, yeah, they haven't dropped a game. They haven't, and I'm like, well, they did drop the, what was it, the semifinal?
I said Swiss.
Hey, let's see.
I said Swiss.
No pressure. Let's see who's gonna win. This is why this is my least favorite part.
Yeah, it should be interesting. It's also fun to note, it's a brand new meta, all things considered. There's still lots of changes day to day, much less week to week. So, maybe ATLUS has got the sauce, then get one over on ETB.
Absolutely. Even sometimes hour to hour, they're like, I found the sauce. And then 20 minutes later, your friend messages you and they're like, it's wrong.
Not the sauce.
I was so wrong. Like, sick. All right.
I tried it. It was a sauce, but it turns out I was slightly allergic. I think I have hives.
Yep.
And
We're going back to tried and true. Yep.
I canceled my singles order.
Yep.
Don't cancel the order. That's how you know it's really bad.
I thought I broke it. Turns out I don't know how to read cards. Did not do what I thought it did.
Out all the foils. You were like, trust me, this one's good.
We've got
I was like, how's no one jumped on this yet? Like, I just broke the format. Part. Yeah, that once per turn.
I don't get you every single time. It's either once per turn or you don't read the last sentence. The last line of text is just like you delete it. You're like, this is the most messed up card ever. And it turns out it's not.
All right, we're going to jump to the action right now. So I will see you later, possibly. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. We're here.
We are here, and we have, oh my gosh, the famous Pandemonium Heart over here, and Luck. And the reason I say that is because they had Lucky as their thing, so it might not be Luck. Luke, it's Luck. But we are doing the famous little 1, 2, 3 dice pile shuffle here as we get started in round number 1 of the ICL on a Wednesday. Willow, I'm just happy to be here.
I know. It's so great to be playing some Lorcana, to be playing some Attack of the Vine as well. And again, like you said, to see a player like Pandemonium Heart, starting the night off, it really it makes you excited. He is a player that is very well known in the community and has been grinding, I would say, Amber and Emerald, but not just the aggro variant that we're seeing out there right now. This player, from what I can tell, is grinding Amber, Emerald, Songs, Color, things like Circle of Life, the control variants and builds that this player is known for historically in things like Emerald and Sapphire. So I'm excited to see how that plays out. I've had a chance to play just a couple of games against the deck, and I hate it. I always think I'm totally going to close out, and then they just get me right at the end there.
Absolutely. Yeah, this deck, it is one of the decks where I think in this meta specifically, everything feels a lot more leveled out. So there's almost, it's almost so wide that as a player that might be exciting, as a caster, it's been horrifying. But at the same time, this deck is a lot slower. It does have weaknesses in places where you can attack it, but that is true of every single deck in the meta right now. So I am very excited to see this matchup in particular. I'm not going to spoil it. I could, but I won't because I want everybody to get a taste of where this is going. Because I think this is the best part of a new format, right?
Yeah,
I've got
absolutely.
my deck. I've practiced it. I'm going to ink my card pass and I'm going to see what you ink. And I'm either going to have a heart attack or I'm going to have the best day of my life. And that's where we're at right now in this meta.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and that's the thing is like with Pandemonium Heart, like I love that this is a player that you can kind of guess their list because they're so giving with it, right? Like usually they're like he is very public about what he is testing. But you're absolutely right. The not knowing is also part of the fun. And so I'll be shocked if he's not on it. But it's also what is luck gonna bring here, and is luck gonna be on their side? So it looks like maybe luck gets to go first. I think we might be off to the races, or are we still altering here?
I think we are
we're
altering, so
altering.
it does get to go first. Yeah, in Disney Lorcana, hey, if you win the die roll, you get to alter first, which is like really helpful. But a lot of people skip over that because it is important to like look at and see how many cards your opponent is throwing back, especially if you know like Pandemonium Heart is probably playing a combo deck, gonna ship 30 cards or just one card, and that kind of lets you know I am in danger.
Yeah, absolutely. Something else we always love to talk about in the altar is the player drip, and both of these players have really awesome drip here. Let's start with the Disney Lorcana Challenge Simba playmat there. Gotta love to see that, how beautiful that is. But on the other side, I'm seeing Season 1 2025 champion and an ICL picture in the corner. I mean, come on, we're flexing here. So this is going to be exciting. Both these players have drip approved by me, and now we just need to see if their decks are approved.
All right, and we're off to the races. We are inking an Incrediboy and playing an Omnidroid, spoiling the secret immediately right out of the gate. This is Amethyst Steel, and we're playing bots.
Oh yeah, it's bots time. And we were able to get that Omnidroid V.8 down as a one drop. This is sometimes the only one drop these decks play, so it's nice that we were able to get it on turn one. Hopefully can shift out very soon.
Yes, and over here we're following up with the Malin Lee lead vocalist. Now this is a 0-3 with Singer 3, but she can only sing those sing together songs, so she's going to need a little bit more friends here as we see Luck going in for a quest with the Omnidroid.
Yeah, pretty interesting here. I mean, we do, of course, have a shift available to us, but we know that the shift that we would do, that V.9, can only deal 2 damage. So against this stat line, maybe we do just want to set up a Violet Par shift on our next turn as well.
And we did follow up with that Violet Par, just like you were talking about. This is a little bit of the alert one. So she is a 2-1 at wit's end. And that is going to be over to Pandemonium as we take a little bit of time here to think about our ink. It will be the Todd, just a strike a good match, because of course we cannot sing with Malin Lee because strike a good match is not a sing together song. So we'll draw 2 and discard 1.
Wow. Getting rid of that Milo Thatch there. That's such an awesome card. Here's the thing. This deck has no problem discarding amazing cards like that Milo Thatch, because later on it's going to be able to get to a point where it has, like this Malin Lee, the Singer 3, can sing together things like Circle of Life, bring that Milo Thatch back, or even better, hopefully a Prince Philip, Vanquisher of Foes. So I think Pandemonium Heart is exactly where they want to be, and it's going to be up to luck here to show us on this turn 3 if their curve is just as good.
Interesting here. We are going to play a Junior Woodchuck's Guidebook, paying the 1 immediately to then go ahead and banish that to draw 2 cards and taking both of these characters on a quest. Notably, we are not seeing any big droids yet, Willow.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting to not have any shifts available to us. We know that Violet Par, Super Resilient, also shifts on turn 3, so we didn't get that there. We don't see an Omnidroid yet, but I do think there's still time. Next turn, we could see an Omnidroid shift for 4, that V.10, then have that 6/6 2 Quester on the board. But I do think the name of the game is to go fast against Pandemonium Heart's deck, and so even if we're not getting the shifts out, the most important thing that we're doing is questing.
All right, and we're seeing Malin Lee come down here. When you play this character, look at the top 4 cards of your deck, and you may reveal a Red Panda card or a song card. And that is a Under the Sea. But hey, I don't know how many of... Right now, we do have the 2-1 Violet Par and the 2-2 Omnidroid, but not much out of Luke's deck can go under the ocean there.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. I like that, under the ocean. I like that a lot. It's going to be interesting to see how fast we can get shifts out, or if we continue to not see them. There's one, this V.9, going to keep that under the sea not being super useful. Sometimes you just need to grab a card, though. So we're going to be able to deal that 2 damage here. Both of these characters having 3 willpower. It's not the easiest choice. Maybe we'll be able to use it
with the strength of a raging fire. Probably, I think that's what we were seeing, but that will go ahead and banish off that Malin Lee, getting that a Violet Park on for a quest and making sure Pandemonium Heart has only 1 sorta singer on board.
It was super funny. You said blowing it up, and then the screen went dark. So
it was gone. It was gone. That was the strongest strength of a raging fire of all time.
But we are getting a little bit of a look at the hand now, playing one of those strengths and then inking another one. So maybe we only have high-costed characters in hand on Luck's side.
And look at this, Todd coming down, being able to draw 2 cards and then discard a card. We would have loved to see this a little bit earlier, but we're gonna grab another. Just kidding. That is the discarded under the sea. I was like, what are we doing? Pandemonium Hearts deck is not running on all cylinders. It's being a little bit clunky here, but we will go ahead and put down another Malin Lee. We're all singing together and we're all friends here.
See, now we're starting to slowly get there, and it kind of makes sense why we might have taken that under the sea. Even if it doesn't have a lot of targets, it enables all of the filter in our deck and kind of gives us this discard fodder.
Oh, except for that, we have another Thunderbolt coming in. That is the second one, taking out that singer in the middle there. It's got Todd and Copper on it. So and then the third, he hurled his Thunderbolt, hurling that and getting rid of another singer for Pandemonium Heart, making it impossible to sing anything together. We're not singing any songs. There's no togetherness on Pandemonium's board at this time as we go for 2 little quests.
Yeah, I mean, again, Luck obviously being able to control the board here is kind of interesting. We're slowing Pandemonium Heart's game plan down. Like, we don't get to do the Circle of Life, next turn to bring back some big threat like that Milo Thatch. But on the other side of the board, it's not like Luck has fully accelerated pedal to the metal either. We're seeing things like that Omnidroid ultimate iteration going into the Inkwell. We're not being able to really shift the most powerful ones yet. So it's looking okay.
This Chernobog on Natural Force does come onto the board here, and it says that you can shuffle opposing character into their player's deck. If you do, that player may play a character from their discard for free. But at this point, I think we have 0 card characters in our deck. So this Chernobog is really good here.
Yeah, definitely getting rewarded for, even though there's been a lot of control, this is kind of the best time to play this Chernobog, is when they get nothing of value out of it, forcing that Omnidroid to go into the Inkwell. This is where we see Pandemonium Heart can slowly start to come back. But then
a Demona! She is the Scourge of a Wyvern Clan and the Scourge of Pandemonium Heart's game, as we will go ahead and immediately exert that Chernobog, exert that Malin Lee. We needed them. They were our only hope, and singing some songs to do anything in this board. And unfortunately, Luke did get to draw 3 cards to refill their hand, and Pandemonium potentially, I think, drew 1 or 0. Actually 0. So really good Demona there coming in from Luck.
Yeah, the difficult part about it, though, is that we still keep the singers on the board. Of course, we are able to do damage to that Malin Lee, but right now, nothing has really changed other than the fact that we filled our hand. So now Pandemonium Heart is going to be able to kind of establish this board even more, where we would have liked to try to get something off the board with the Demona, but sometimes you don't have cards, you have to do what you got to do.
Ooh, and we sang an Akud. Finally, we're getting our game plan that did give us a cost reduction of 2. We were able to then play a Surfer Stitch, and because we have 2 characters on the board, we were able to draw 2 cards and inking a Circle of Life. This is looking a lot better. Stitch is a 4/8, which is insane stats for a card from set 1. He's just a solid little guy, reprinted in Fable, and still causing problems.
Yeah, it's crazy to see how, even though there was so much controlling going on Luck's side of the board, that early game is not, I mean, it can help to really steamroll things, but it's not necessarily where this deck shines. And so here we go. Yes, Luck was able to control, has lots of songs in that discard pile, but we have things like this Surfer Stitch coming out. And I mean, our Demona now having to challenge in against some of these things. and so many cards in Pandemonium Heart's hand. I think even if luck is feeling good, Pandemonium Heart still has a lot that they can do to get back into this game.
Well, a little less now that we did play the Omnidroid shifted immediately, and due to the 2 damage to finish off that Malin Lee, taking again that Singer, because we are sitting now at Singer 7. That is something that you always have to pay attention to, as this Chernobog is here. He's back, and now we can go ahead and still choose a target, shuffle it back into your deck, and again, no more characters in the discard. So this Chernobog is basically a Maleficent Dragon again.
Yeah, one of the things, I mean, you see choosing that Omnidroid there, you kind of always have to, because of the nature of those shift targets, they're just so powerful, and you don't want those Omnidroids to end up in the discard either because of things like that Syndrome out for revenge. So I definitely agree, but it does hurt to keep something as strong as Demona on the board, even if she's only got 1 damage on her, because we don't really have ping ability available to us in this kind of deck.
Yeah, we are going back and forth, taking a hefty little challenge, that 5 damage back. But listen, hey, I don't know if this, I mean, I could find out if the deck has Ohanamin's family in it. Man, that would feel real juicy with that 5 damage. But instead, that Violet Par only has she is only a 2/1. And so unless we shift here, then we might be able to cleanly take out this Stitch. Or if we sing, there's gonna be, what do we need here, Willow?
Well, we start with the Hades, you know, but here's the thing. This is kind of what I was talking about here. So the first character to go into the discard pile was that Demona. We were able to use 2 Chernobogs in the meantime to really accelerate our game plan and keep our opponent off of theirs. So it looks like, oh, you know, maybe Pandemonium is falling behind. But even so, as you can see, luck and the deck is just not really having the setup it needs to continue to get going. I think realistically what we're going to see here is Pandemonium Heart continuing to be able to control out the rest of this game, unless luck is going to start seeing the shift targets that he needs, and very, very quickly.
All right, as we did go ahead and play that Hades and then opt to put it under the deck. We did not give luck 2 cards, so now we have to be very low on hand resources. Looking over there, maybe rubbing about 2 cards together, as Pandemonium Heart does. Ink that oh my god, I know that he's not playing a Sapphire deck, but the way he handles his Inkwell is crazy. PH, get it together. But we will go ahead and actually hard play the Circle of Life, grabbing back a Milo, which will let us discard a card to bounce something back to your hand. At this point, though, you might want to keep the card and not give them back the Hades.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how threatening this Hades realistically is. And like you said, if we are to bounce it back to their hand, they're potentially going to get 2 cards out of it. It looks like we might have chosen to take the discard, though, maybe to get the Violet Par shift out of there. No, we're not scared of the Hades at all. That's super interesting.
And we will challenge into the Violet Par, getting that immediately off the board, going for the complete board control in this instance. Now, that does trigger the Milo second effect, where it says if 2 cards have been put into your discard by the end of your turn, you do get to draw a card. So that might be why we went ahead and chose the Milo effect, just to draw into a little bit more resources here.
Yeah, I mean, some other considerations, of course, the card draw is always going to be nice. That Milo having Ward forces our opponent to target the Chernobog specifically, and so maybe we're feeling like, even if, you know, we are to put this Hades back in their hand, one, they're going to spend a majority of their resources. We see here now 5 ink being used, only 2 left with a potential of 3. We're not too threatened with 3 ink left, and also, even if we choose, you know, to not put this Chernobog under, again, they don't have a lot to do. If we do put it under, we still have a pretty healthy hand, and Milo potentially, depending on what we draw, because of the amount of filter in this deck from things like Todd, from things like Gate and Moliere, we can continue to draw a lot of cards that it might not even matter.
And we did see him hard play the Circle of Life, so that does mean that we have plenty of ink to play with, and we're finally live with everything as we do play the Todd down here, being able to draw the 2 cards and discard 1. So now we are off to the races. It looks like this is, if there was a corner, I think we're turning it.
Definitely starting to turn the corner here. And this is what I was talking about here. This Todd Clever Fox allowing us to, like you said, put cards into the discard pile to hopefully continue that Milo Thatch ability, so we can start drawing. Strike a Good Match also going to do the same thing. So now, hopefully, for the rest of this game, we can continue to draw cards while also drawing into things that are going to deal with and fully control our opponent's side of the board.
Awesome. And we got the Akud that we did discard after that Todd, or did we play it? Goodness, at the same time. But anyway, if we played it, it was a free Malin Lee, and we're going to go ahead and grab a Malin Lee because, again, she doesn't just get songs. She finds red pandas. And we will take Milo Thatch, our 3-quester with Ward, onto a quest because that is basically what he's here for. And because we get that Milo trigger again. So that is a secret ability that a lot of people do forget in this instance. But Pandemonium Heart is taking full advantage of that last line of text.
Yeah, absolutely. Pandemonium Heart's deck is firing off on all cylinders. Luck, on the other hand, not seeing the same success here. So starting to establish the Omni Droids is going to be a good start. We're going to want some of these big bodies to come into play to get around things like that under the sea. Hopefully, though, we don't run into Gastons on the other side if we are going to start putting out these Omni Droids.
And I have, well, you know what? A good way to do that is maybe top deck some more removal, which we did at that He Heralded Thunderbolt. Pandemonium's board was looking wide, and now Luck, it passes their turn over, and we only see the Milo left in this situation. So we're going to have to figure out what we want to do here, just moving some ink around in a really organized way that Pandemonium Heart loves to do as a Grandmother Willow, Ancient Advisor, and another bunch of ink and a Surfer Stitch coming down to draw more cards. We are not hurting for resources.
This deck is so disgusting. There's no other word for it. It disgusting in the most beautiful way possible. I mean, like, all of the things that Pandemonium is able to do, his deck is doing exactly what he wants to. I mean, drawing the cards off of the Surfer Stitch when you can't draw cards off of the Milo feels so good. And all the while, the Milo having the ward ready to quest whenever.
Oh, and the big boy is here. The 8/8 Ward resisted. Oh my gosh, sorry. I always get ultimate iteration. My goodness, he's an 8/8/8 with 2 lore, shift 6, resist +2. And then when you shift him, you may return all the cards out from under him to your hand. So we will go ahead, get all those cards out from under there, and then replay that little baby, the little baby version 8. And then also keeping that 4-card droid in our hand.
Yeah, so this is a good start for sure. Like, very threatening body. Pandemonium definitely is going to have to answer this card. Here's the thing, though. If he sees a single Gaston superior archer, this thing's just gone, right? And then all of that progress and all of the cost that we invested into getting this onto the board just kind of feels bad. But we do know, you know, there's only typically those Gastons, there's only a few copies of. So let's see what we can realistically do to remove it.
We will go ahead and start with the Malin Lee and grab the Lost in the Woods, which does reduce everything by 2. It is a great song to pair with the Under the Sea, which is the version that Pandemonium Heart typically seems to favor towards. Now we are going to go ahead and exert the 4 ink. Are we just going to play the Aerial Ethereal Voice, boosting her for 1? We're going to go start some singing here, being able to draw a card when you do that once per turn. How insane would that have been if they would have every time he goes through his discard, I get so nervous, Willow. He's shuffling through his discard. What are we doing?
What are we doing indeed? Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what we go. I don't think, okay, we passed it over, so we didn't go for anything here, but we still have a healthy hand. I think we're saving it. We're playing with our food a little bit here, if I had to guess.
He is scaring me with the cards. And what are we doing with our board? His board is always hilarious. All right, so we will go ahead and start. And over here with Luck, we will shift the Omni Droid. He's back. He's Adam, and he'll be able to do 2 damage. But notably, goodbye, Willow. You have already gotten, not Willow Bees, ancient Advisor Willow. She's now into the discard, but I think she already really got her value for him.
Yeah, I mean, that turn where she got to, you know, play out that Surfer Stitch just feels so good. I believe we're no cards in hand now for Luck. And I mean, sure, we're slowly starting to build up this board, matching wits 4 characters on either side. But I definitely think with the amount of cards in hand and just the things that we know are in this deck, I wouldn't be surprised if Pandemonium Heart can very quickly clean up the other side of this board.
We are singing Lost in the Woods. And we'll draw a card. What if we draw another Lost in the Woods? Oh, but at the same time, it does make favorably more. Everything gets -2. We're distributing that. Let's take some time to think. And here's the thing. I love to try to predict Pandemonium, but I'm always wrong, Willow. So what are we doing? We're singing. It is another Under the Sea. So we'll go ahead and get the Violet part that we drew for turn, the Hades, and the other card. It is gone, as I hope that there was a train that was very.
It's my train. I'm sorry. It's my train.
Okay, I was
well,
like,
it's not my personal train, but there is a train going by, and it's so loud. I'm so sorry.
It's like, I thought it was a soundboard. She was like, under the sea, and you're like, whoop whoop. I'm like, that's not.
That's not.
That was a whole different vibe. But I love that. I love the we're doing great here. Hilarious. That is the sound that Under the Sea makes. Fantastic. But we are going to go in a Malin Lee and then another Under the Sea. There are quite a few of those in the deck, and followed up with an Angel Siren Singer. We're building up singers. We're going wide. We're also grabbing songs that make you terrified if we have any more Lost in the Woods. And by the way, I'm going to quest for 3 with this Milo.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy how quickly this board state has gotten out of control. Now, I will say, obviously, this Omni Droid, it is the ultimate iteration. It is very scary to be staring down on the other side, but there's just so many characters to this one that even if this one Omni Droid can continue to challenge, by the time that it could realistically deal with multiple threats, Pandemonium Heart is likely to have an answer to get rid of it here. But I mean, we're going to see what Luck is going to decide to do. There is obviously an option to start challenging some of these more threatening players like the Milo Thatch or the Surfer Stitch. But again, that's going to continue to stack damage onto this droid.
Yeah, we are thumbing up this Omni Droid here. He's the ultimate iteration. He ultimately has a +2 resist, but at the same, I mean, he's an 8/8. He can munch on anything. There is not a lot of stuff in this game of Disney Lorcana where you can actually cleanly take out a Surfer Stitch and be okay from it. Yeah. So it's an interesting thing here. The fact that we haven't seen a Gaston, the fact that we've seen every other card in Amber and Emerald. Now, Luck is sitting at 10 lore. Now, that will change very quickly. So we do go ahead and challenge that Aerial Theory of Voice, which is hilarious because that is our card advantage engine technically. But we've also got 7 other ways to draw cards in this deck, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, we go ahead and attack that, challenge that aerial, I would presume, because we don't want to start stacking damage onto this Omni Droid as long as we can help it. But that does mean, yes, we stop some of the card draw, but also, I mean, looking at the Milo Thatch and the Surfer Stitch, that's plenty of lore that is going to be continuing to accelerate Pandemonium Heart at a speed that Luck cannot keep up with if they are challenging and being forced to challenge every turn.
Absolutely. And I do think that Omni Droid might have a little bit more damage on it, but it doesn't matter because, hey, Milo Thatch is going to get Circle of Life right out of the discard, played onto the board. We're going to discard another Under the Sea, put it back into your hand, and turn everything exerted and on a hefty quest all the way up to 14 lore. Lost in the Woods in the discard, and an Angel just as a treat. And we will get 2 Milo triggers, drawing 2 cards at the end of our turn. I hate this deck, Willow.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. I mean, and good on Luck here. Gonna see what they can do, but it's not looking too great. But I mean, it just goes to show you the power of this deck, where we can see, looking at Luck's discard there, we have the Strength of the Raging Fire. We have 3, I believe, Thunderbolts in a row there. Okay, and still, even though we kept them off of singing Circle of Life on turn 3, even though we kept them off of singing, over and over and over again for the first 5 turns of this game, Pandemonium Heart was not doing anything. It doesn't matter, because what we know about control decks is still true even if the colors have changed. The later that we get into this game, the more opportunities that Pandemonium's deck has to shine. But really, on the other side as well, I mean, Luck just did not see a curve that we wanted to. I mean, on turn 3, with the Violet Par and the Omni Droid shift targets on the board, having to play a guidebook, there are plenty of things that went wrong on Luck's side of the board. Got a little unlucky there, and hopefully going to be looking to change things up this time, get a little bit more lucky. It just wasn't in the heart of the cards that time.
Well, yeah, so Pandemonium will take that game 1. I mean, questing with 2 Milos probably from 14. Even then, I think that wins you the game. So we do have a Pandemonium Heart winning game number 1 here in round number 1, and Luck is definitely going to try to flip this around. They will be on the play this time. It does seem like that early interaction, what you said, it is kind of crazy, because what I would have said is you got to disrupt the singers. You got to disrupt the singers. And it really did look like Luck did that immediately out of the gate. You said the Strength of Raging Fire, the 2 Thunderbolts, making sure that Pandemonium Heart really struggled on setting up. But the problem is you took so many resources to answer your opponent's board that by the time you were trying to build up, you had no lore advantage, and the late game was here. The time was upon us, and the relentless. I think Pandemonium Heart is the destroyer of worlds. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I tried to take that, but like he's one of the nicest guys in the entire world. But these decks they have teeth.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it was beautifully piloted for sure. I think now Luck is going to be looking for actual shift lines, hitting them on time. And we don't know what these players are keeping in their altar. Maybe this is something where Luck was thinking, let me keep some of my removal early and send back some other cards, to try to get my shift lines. But if I have at least one thing to target a singer, I'll be good. And then what happens is, you don't end up drawing into those shift lines. And maybe you just drew into 2 more Thunderbolts. So now you have 3 Thunderbolts and a strength in hand, and you're like, I wanted to target these singers, but not that much, right? So part of the altar is definitely going to be hopefully changing here. It is a delicate balance in Disney Lorcana, and that's what makes this game so I think interesting and so much depth there, because yes, you understand the concept of I'm looking for my best cards, but you have to still keep in mind what are the odds of you seeing too many of that card, and when can it be detrimental. Normally people are super happy to see 3 Thunderbolts in a row. Turn 1, 2, and 3, though, that is not the turn you want to see them off the top of the deck. So we're going to give it another try here, and hopefully Luck has a little bit more better luck this time, as we do see an Omni Droid going into the Inkwell and coming down on turn 1. Hopefully we see that shift line.
I mean, would definitely help here. Now, Pandemonium is probably still trying to do that as well. It's the same thing, right? If we break up your shift lines or you break up my singers, there are combos happening here that need to be interrupted. And at their heart, both of these it is a very interesting situation. Both these matchups can be very controlly, and they're not very aggressive decks in terms of lore pressure. And if you are, may the best control deck win at this point. So the matchup does seem 60-40, 50-50-ish if you want to do a little bit of vibes math there.
Yeah, absolutely. And Violet Parcel Resilient hitting the Inkwell. We're going to get another Omni Droid established, and I think this is a good thing.
Multi-Omni Droids that way, hey, more chances for shifting. And also too, with that Meilin Lee as a 0-4, even if you shifted that Omni Droid, it would only do the 2 damage. So now if you shift, boom, there it is.
Grandmother Willow definitely going to be the target for that one. Meilin Lee 3 willpower there, but regardless would not be banished. But getting this Omni Droid V9 out onto the board, nice 4-3 stat line, going on a quest, feeling good, up to 3 lore as the Syndrome hits the Inkwell.
That was a beautiful first couple turns for Luck there, putting out the second Omni Droid and saving that shift for the 2 damage to get rid of that Willow, making sure that you cannot take advantage of it this turn, slowing you down in the most important way possible by taking away your ramp.
Yeah, and then we see an ethereal voice going into the Inkwell. In order to play that Todd Clever Fox, we put that Milo Thatch into the discard pile. That's like a new Lilo Escape Artist color. Now we love things like Milo Thatch in the discard pile because we'll just get him back later.
It's a special tool that we'll use later, but hey, we'll have to use an 8-cost song to get there. But it does look like we are 3-6, so we are at a Singer 6 at this point. We would love to have had a little bit something else onto the board here, but that Willow did not make it through. And had it been able to get there, we would have been able to start singing. Having that Milo in there, the Circle of Life, being able to get those cards out early. But again, I just cannot speak enough to the second Omni Droid that's going to be here now.
Look at this. Junior Woodchuck's Guidebook goes into the Inkwell, but that's okay because we get to shift this Omni Droid V10 here. We've had the 8, now we got the 9, now we got the 10. This is going to gain resist +2 because we did shift it, and it is now a 6-6 questing for 2. This is going to be really difficult to deal with here.
Yeah, but it is the scariest control deck of all time, so we can't count it out. Look, we have so many cards over there in Pandemonium Heart's hand, and we are basically still filtering through our deck and trying to sculpt our hand to get to where we want. I know it's the beginning of the game. We need a few more singers, and it looks like we are going to be taking a little bit of a song quest here. Song quest?
Yeah, song quest indeed. We're singing that Akud Edamudi with our Todd. Gonna be able to draw a card deeper and pay less, 2 less for the next character that we play this turn. So we're gonna get a 5 cost coming down in the form of that Gaston Superior Archer, able to target that Omni Droid as it does have 5 strength or more.
And that is exactly what we were talking about last game. We wanted to see that. He needed the Gaston. This is the first time we've actually seen him this match. And look how effective it was getting rid of all that hard-earned Omnidroid bot technology that you worked for over there, leaving that only one onto the board. I think now, unless we're able to get rid of this, we gotta sing Thunderbolt. Okay, we're gonna do some challenging instead.
Another train was going by. So I was muting my mic. But yeah, we are going to go ahead and challenge. Gonna stay a little nice and healthy as Hades looking for a deal comes down. And we're going to have to make a choice, but it doesn't matter what it is. Pandemonium Heart is not interested, and we get to draw 2 cards.
Absolutely. That discard is set up so well. Circle of Life would be wonderful here. That Gaston, the Malin Lee being that threshold of an 8 sing together situation, but we will go ahead and get some card draw resources out too.
Yeah, playing this Aerial Ethereal Voice and getting to boost her. So now we will draw a card if we are able to sing a song. And there it is, Color. Gonna use that Sing Together 8 in order to sing Circle of Life and play this Milo Thatch onto the board for free. And we do not choose to discard a card to bounce a character back to hand. But because of the amount of cards that entered our discard, we do get to draw.
We did. You can stack your triggers. Yes, so you can actually stack your triggers however you want. So you will draw first with the Aerial Ethereal Voice, and then you can choose to discard a card with the Milo Thatch to then get the trigger to bounce that. So
introduction to the bag 101.
It's a big old bag, and
there's so many triggers.
I forgot. Beautiful. I love that. Oh my gosh. So yeah, we will go ahead and put the Hades back into your hand. I think at this point you can just keep drawing cards because now we are off to the races. This deck is firing on all cylinders. The Aerial Ethereal Voice is a threat. Even the Malin Lee just hanging out as a threat as well. Gaston being annoying because again, that droid is only a 4/3. It does have resist, but it's not going to be able to take too many more hits before it goes straight on down.
And here we go. We're looking at, I believe it's 4 cards in hand, might be 3 cards in hand, a little blurry there, that Luck has to work with here. We've got one floating above the inkwell, so we're going up to, I believe, 6 ink this turn, exerting our ink. It's gonna be that shift. There it is, that Omnidroid ultimate iteration, gonna allow us to send all the cards that were underneath it if we shifted it back to our hand. And now we have this 8/8 with resist 2 on the board, able to challenge that Gaston, banish it, and only take 1 damage back in that challenge.
And that's basically going to help us out. Exactly what I was like, oh, well, this little Omnidroid went to market and it already had the damage on it and it's not going to be able to take that much more. But when you shift this big boy, that resist +2 on an 8/8 is scary. Now, we already saw the one Gaston, that 8/8 being the one that challenged him down into the discard. So if Pandemonium Heart has another one, this is going to be really rough going forward for Luck, as this is the scary part. There's parts of a matchup where you're like, oh, maybe it's very swingy, maybe it's not. No, this is the danger zone. Pandemonium Heart has taken us to the danger zone, and now we get to see how Luck is going to get themselves out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. But first, the onus is on Pandemonium Heart to make it as difficult as possible. We see 5 ink being exerted here, but it is not the Gaston. Instead, it is going to be this Chernobog Unnatural Force. And again, we are going to be able to shuffle this character into the deck. However, we can take a look at that discard pile and play one for free. But I think if we are using this card, it's been thought out here, gonna look to see. I don't think we have anything too threatening in that discard pile.
Nope, we'll go ahead and get the 1 droid back, but it only does 2 damage only if it's shifted. And in this situation, no, it's a 6/6. All the droid, every time I get, okay, every time I say this, it
only gets the resist if it's shifted. Yeah.
Every time I say this, I get in trouble. All those droids look the same to me. All right.
Yeah, so this one not gonna have resist because there is no card underneath it there.
And we did just go ahead and boost the aerial and pass here, boosting that up potentially because there might be some cards in there, like put that thing back where it came from, or so help me. That's probably not the full government name of it, but we would be able to bounce that aerial back to our hand while also drawing a card and then taking the cards out from under the aerial to refill our hand. So that is a really cool interaction that I'd love to see.
We go ahead and play the 1 drop and immediately shift onto it in order to get that ability to deal the 2 damage. We're going to put 2 of them on that Aerial Ethereal Voice. We are going to do it again. Why not? So double shifting, that's one way to remove that character, as we do see another ethereal voice and a Gaten Mollier was underneath that aerial there.
That is one way to take away my dreams of seeing that interaction that I just explained, that double shifting, being able to do the 4 damage. Now, hey, if we ever see another, the 8/8 bodyguard, no, body droid of the future goes down, we'll be able to put all of those cards back into our hand. And so just recycling the droids at this point. So it's version V.8, but version V.20 here for luck.
Yeah, how many droids can we get in a 1 droid match? We're doing pretty good so far. That's 3 droids stacked on top of each other, another in the discard and 1 on the board. But we go ahead and ink a Lost in the Woods. These droids are just a little too powerful to get them into the under the sea range, at least that big one there. But now we're taking a moment to think. We have a lot of ink available to us. What do you think he's going to do? Go ahead.
Yeah. Go ahead. Predict Pandemonium Heart. I dare you. I actually dare you, because the man just inked the Lost in the Woods. And I'm like, oh, okay. Lost in the Woods does hit the Omni Droid that would be there. So that tells me that we potentially don't have an Under the Sea going for us. It also tells me that has time stopped? Is that just
time
me?
has stopped? Time has stopped. We've slowed everything down in anticipation of this decision. We really just wanted to give you time, Color, to say exactly what you thought was going to happen. And as soon as you're done, obviously the player will continue to move.
Yeah.
Okay. We're being informed that he might actually just be very still. No, I think
Pandemonium Heart's frozen.
Yeah, that was luck
frozen.
Being like, look.
Woo! Okay. I was like, I have never, somebody check on PH. I'm pretty sure that he just like Elsa walked in, just froze him or something like that. But at the same time, yeah, let's sit here and talk about this matchup. It is really, well, I guess we'll never know.
I'm sure we'll throw back into the match at some point, but ETB is going to be up 1 game. It's this right now, looking at the board state, it's not as clear who's ahead as it was in game 1. But I do think that naturally Amethyst Steel Bots is going to have just like a harder time into Amber and Emerald. I don't know. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, this is basically a I would 60-40 with the Amber and Emerald control being the more like the slightly favored version, because at this point they're both trying to set up in an early game situation, and it does seem like the bots should come out of the gate a little bit stronger because you have that shift droid available to do the 2 damage. But because of the Malin Lee being a 0/3, that actually is a perfect counter to that early shift line, and therefore you get to keep that. Now, we did see the situation where it got rid of the Willow a little bit prematurely, but Pandemonium Heart is known for their patience and being able to anticipate and pivot. So it does basically, any time that you can interrupt their plan, if you're playing against bots, it's going to put a huge wrench in what they're trying to do. And if they're constantly afraid of what you're doing, they're not playing their game plan the way that they would like.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely nailing it. I think that's kind of what we're seeing is, I mean, first of all, one thing I've noticed about Amethyst Steel droids is that you would think because it's an Amethyst deck, it draws a lot of cards, but it doesn't actually draw that many cards unless you're kind of hitting like a really beautiful curve. And we're seeing where, having to ink cards like the Junior Woodchuck's Guidebook in order to get out our Omni droids, because they are so powerful once they hit the board. But I think that's the problem. Like we saw inking a Junior Woodchuck's Guidebook to have the 4 ink available to us to shift this droid because we didn't want to ink, that droid and play the guidebook. Yes, on the one hand, like you were saying, you are able to get kind of like that early acceleration on the lore pressure, but our hand size just can't keep up and compete with some of the things that this deck can do towards the later end, especially when you consider we mentioned like Malin Lee, also the one that is basically Ariel Spectacular Singer, right? The one that is digging for more songs. The Todd, Clever Fox, like being able to draw 2 cards and only having to discard one of them. We haven't seen it yet. It's only been used as ink so far, but Gaten Mollier can actually sometimes just be the perfect card because it's evasive. It's not something that's easily removable, especially against this steel deck only having things like Thunderbolt. I mean, we have not seen 5 characters on the board at once. I think only the most that we've seen on Amethyst Steel is 4, right? So that Gate Moliere is super sticky, super hard to get rid of. And then again, perfect time to be like, you know what? I don't want this Under the Sea in the hand. Let me quest, draw 2 more cards, and I know for sure I can discard this Under the Sea that's not going to prove to be useful to me. So I just think overall, like you were saying, the 60-40, I think Emerald and Amber is just going to be a little bit more favored here. And we just don't have the lore pressure early enough in the game on Luck's side in order to feel like we are comfortable. So it is going to be a little bit of an uphill battle if I had to guess. But anything is possible. There's also plenty of draws that are not super valuable against the purple steel deck. So it just depends on how it's going to go from here.
Yeah, and I mean, and I will say though, there are some shift lines in this deck that are not just droids, and it seems like we've seen oops all droids. We are missing that Violet Parr, super resilient. We haven't gotten to see her, I think, at all this game. She is your card advantage engine. She, whenever you play her or a hero, you're able to draw a card and discard a card. So that helps you fill your discard with some of those bots that you need for the other shift target that we have not seen at all, which is that Syndrome out for revenge. He seems to be out for milk and cereal, so he's not actually here doing his job. So he needs to get back and help Luck out a little bit here, because then we'll be able to start moving through those droids and actually playing free cards, and free is good. So if you start to go wide with these droids and you start to kind of overwhelm in that aspect, now the Lost in the Woods is really going to help with that. There are some versions that are on Malicious, Mean, and Scary, and Pandemonium Heart is on the Lost in the Woods Under the Sea variant. So there is some counterplay, and again, and that's why I'm saying it it might just be slightly favored in that iteration, but there are draws to get yourself out of it, and things can swing one way or the other. It's just that Luck needs to start swinging that way, generating a little bit more card advantage, and seeing if we can try to get a game 3.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I totally agree with you. I think you're so right. That Violet Parr super oh, we might be back. Oh, we're not back. But yeah, that Violet Parr super resilient, I think, is like the key piece, along with that Syndrome that we have been missing. Yes, Luke. Okay, I thought he was going to say something. Okay.
Sorry, we just got an apology, just a little random apology.
But I think actually you're making a really great point as well. That now that we are kind of so far into game 2, not seeing Prince Philip or Malicious, Mean, and Scary at any point in these 2 games, but seeing the Lost in the Woods makes it seem like we are kind of all in on the Under the Sea version of this deck, which is actually, I think, weaker into droids, because again, look at that Omni Droid Ultimate Iteration, 8 cost. It doesn't matter if you have a Lost in the Woods. It doesn't matter if you have 2 Lost in the Woods. It's still not enough to reduce the strength of that Omni Droid, that one in particular, right? Like it makes it a lot difficult to get use out of that card.
Absolutely. Well, yeah. And then, but who's like, oh yeah, this is 8-8, hooray. But again, that's where Gaston is really going to shine in this matchup. You're like, oh, boop, it's an answer. And so Gaston has really been, I think I could venture to say that Gaston is probably the most played Attack of the Vine card that we've seen post rotation. Like I feel like Gaston has gone in every single Amber deck, and that's basically it. Like the other card that I could assume maybe that I'm just trying to think of like how many copies of new cards, because in post rotation we got a bunch of stuff going on. I could run the bet that maybe Malin Lee and Gaston are the most 2 played cards from Attack of the Vine, and he just, that 5 strength threshold is so well positioned right now.
I thought I got so excited when you started saying that, because I just so happened today to be filming a video of like my personal most impactful cards from Attack of the Vine specifically, and Gaston was the runner-up, but ultimately I think Malin Lee is the number 1. But I think the reason why is only because Gaston doesn't go into aggro shells because he's just a little expensive, where Malin Lee, I mean, I don't think it's super common, but like she can go into an aggro shell depending on like if it's Amber Steel or something like that. So, but like they're so close. And you're absolutely right. And I think these are 2 cards in Attack of the Vine that don't need context to be good. I think there's a lot of cards in Attack of the Vine that are very strong, but they do rely on context. Omni Droids, great example of that, right? Syndrome. Yeah, like it kind of helps enable some of those things. Like, but I think specifically Malin Lee and Gaston, you don't need to justify them with a bunch of different combos. They are just kind of always good. So play more always good cards in your deck. I don't know. Like even Morph, for example, was like one of my cards in Amethyst that I was like, oh, this is my personal like best, most impactful Amethyst Attack of the Vine card specifically. But it's very contextual on like what you can and cannot shift onto it, and it only gets better the better the other shift targets are. So I don't know. Play broken things and do broken things.
So it's funny. It is funny that you mentioned that, because I think that was maybe like a notable thing, not necessarily criticism, but like set 1, it was just oops, all good cards. Like,
yeah,
like have you read this Rapunzel card? You know, what is this Tinkerbell? Dragon? Okay, sure. So then we've gotten down the line, and as the sets have developed further, the game is trying to focus a lot more on synergy, and so
absolutely.
You just like, you have like a few powerhouses that are going to get distributed, and then you do have cards that just on their face read and being like, man, this sucker's pretty good. Like, okay, let me just like throw this in a deck, and it's a universally good card. And then you have other cards that you read it and you go, okay, all right, I see the vision. And as they print more cards, Willow, that you're just like, please, no more. This will continue. It will just be terrible after a certain point.
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right. I did get word we're not going to throw into it right away, but very soon we are going to go into a different match. Obviously, this match, we want to know what happens. I'm sure we'll find out soon. But there is a little bit of a technical issue, nothing we can really do. So in a moment, when production is ready, we will throw into Triad Group versus the other South Florida team that you literally just told me never shift. It's like he literally just
South
said
Florida,
it
they're us,
in my
Willow,
ear. You're right. They're not South Florida. They're Central Florida. I'm sorry. Well, I got excited because I was like, yay, me and Color are both from Florida, and we can talk about these teams just as excitedly. And then my brain forgot. But here we go. Triad and never shift. So we will let you know what happens with the other game as soon as we can. But yeah, this is exciting. We're jumping into the middle here. As we can see, it looks like Triad is up a game. We've got a Besties assembled that has just found a Gaston. What? It's game 3.
It's just game 3.
Sorry. Production's in my ear. We're here, Color. We're in game 3. We saw Besties assemble and it took a Gaston, and on the other side, we're doing things. What are we doing? What? Oh my gosh, look at this.
My eyes cannot adjust.
Rapunzel, the fan. I'm like, what is that card? It's a Rapunzel coming down. The one that you can discard a card to give it evasive and an extra lore. On the other side, Grandmother Willow.
All right. Yeah, that is a card and a half. I have not really seen this card played that much here, but we did see Amber go into the Inkwell, so I think it is a little bit of a mirror match, which goody. But at the same time, this the little Rapunzel makes me feel like we're doing something a little different here. Now, this being the Rapunzel leads me to believe that either you have found a magical way to draw cards and turn on this ability, or you're going to be the most aggressive deck that we have ever laid eyes on, as we do aggressive things.
Yes, we do the most aggressive deck I've ever laid eyes on things. Yeah, so we go ahead and ink Bobby's and Maruski, play another one of these Rapunzels and a Grandmother Willow as well. I would agree with you. I've only seen this Rapunzel really being utilized in conjunction with like steal strategies, you know, things like the do you discard the let's show
look
me.
What you've done.
Look what you've done. Thank you, Color.
It's just the most toxic name of a card ever. That's why I am like, it's like something my mom would yell at me. And so every time I see this card, I'm like, psychological damage.
It's just the trauma. That's the only reason I couldn't remember. But yeah, so maybe in this version, we're just going to be discarding our hand, trying to go as fast as possible. But what do we want to discard, right? Like, that's kind of the thing. So I don't know. Maybe there is some secret, super awesome tech that we don't know about for the ICL on a Wednesday here.
Listen, Mark said, hey, it's a new meta. We are really struggling with low resources. What if I gave myself less resources? And Augustin here coming in, he is a support 3/6. He's a Madrigal. So we are seeing some Madrigals. This does look, have we seen the other color on, what did I just say? On automatic side, is this an Amethyst and Amber deck against a Emerald and Amber deck?
We probably have seen the other color, but I really feel like this is Amber and Ruby, like just based on the cards that are being played. But that's probably not true. So we'll see. Maybe production can get us some, or I can pull up the lore tracker. It'll be interesting to see.
The meta is wide open. We are dying out here, you guys.
I know, right? It could be anything, guys. You have no idea. You guys have no idea. It could be anything. I think it looks like Amber Ruby, but I feel like we did see an Emerald card at some point there.
Hey, listen, there are a lot of times where the shell of a deck can be ported over and used immediately. We did see the Emerald and Steel Touch the Sky deck having Vixie in it. And then we also saw immediately winning the CCQ was a Vixie, Emerald, and Amber deck as the Mike Wazowski
It's
comes
purple.
in.
It's Amethyst.
It is Amethyst. I was right. I should have bet something. Dang. All right. It is a Amethyst and Amber deck versus this Emerald and Amber deck that is doing a lot of stuff. It's doing a lot.
It is doing a lot. On the other side of the board, Mark is also doing a lot. We did see that Mike Wazowski, Heroic Climber, come down and reveal that other card color to us, as well as this David. And so we're slowly building up our board, but we are not quite ready to exert yet.
Oh, but this is Amethyst. If you don't want to exert, I know Elsa Fifth Spirit is gone, but here there are things to make you exert, even if you don't want to. So we might see an Isis Vanderchill, and that would gum up the plan very heavily. But we're going to start off with a quest, and this would be really funny, but it is just a quest from the in an unquest. We are questing and unquesting with the Augustin. So there's a lot of situations. Okay, we see the Gaston in hand. Okay, we see the Gaston. I know. We see the Gaston in hand. That's not good. But there is the Isis Vanderchill. Okay.
Yeah, you called it. Absolutely. What are we going to exert here?
It is the Grandmother Willow, and we immediately go ahead and challenge into it, getting that up out of here, off of the board. Willow and I'm discombobulated, so I'm gonna do like a reset. This is my reset.
Yeah, we're making it work. We're here. We've got Emerald and Amber versus Amber and Amethyst. The tensions are high. We've got an aggro shell versus a little bit more of a control role here in this position, and we gotta see what is Mark gonna be doing with these Rapunzels. How much lore can we realistically gain off of them? When are we going to turn sideways? Is this going to be the situation where we build up our board to 20 lore and then we quest out, or can we make use of these evasives? But I don't know. Right now, we're kind of thinking about it, because I think we only have 3 cards in hand. Color doesn't sound good to discard with only 3 cards in hand.
No, yeah, we definitely would have to discard 2 cards to get 2 of those triggers. It's not like I can discard the 1 and all of a sudden my Rapunzels just kind of work, unless they do, which that would make that card way better. I'll have to read that eventually, but it is a 2/1, so even challenging into this Augustin because he is such a big body. But the Mike Wazowski does mitigate some of that problem with this changes the board immediately as the Dale comes here.
Yeah, we got the Dale ready for his shot coming down, allowing our characters to challenge with their willpower. So now we are able to use the Mike Wazowski and that David to be able to get that Augustine off the board and keep our characters, which feels pretty good.
Is it Augustine or Augustine because we're from Florida?
Augustine, I think, because he is Hispanic.
Okay, well, thank you.
Yeah. Every man I've known was Augustine, so.
Okay, well, I learned something today, as this is a little bit of a wide board. That did change the math a lot. Dale is that terrifying card to where his very existence is scary, because again, we did take that 0/4 and a 1/4 and challenge in and get rid of that card. Now we saw the Gaston in Automatic's hand, and what you can do, and what's really funny with this deck, is you can actually quest with him, give support to your opponent's character, and then play the Gaston, and that's just immediate removal in and itself. So that's why that Augustine has made. Please tell me, am I saying right?
Yes, yeah, you did. It's definitely Augustine. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I just watched that movie recently, like again, but I don't even remember. But I'm pretty sure it's Augustine. I'm telling
Augustine?
you.
Okay.
I'm telling you.
Okay.
I'm Puerto Rican, guys. I'm putting my fist down. It's Augustine, okay?
It's Augustine.
At least for me today. As we see this piggy bank come down. And then the Sven leaping reindeer as well. So this is feeling pretty good.
Oh, and we take the battle Willow into that David, taking out the last little bodyguard situation that we have and being able to challenge down the two Rapunzels. But we did leave the Mike Wazowski on the board, Willow. That is card advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when you consider Mark's deck likely has a majority of characters. So we'll have to see what we're going to do with this Mike. It does look like we're going to go on a quest there. Going to reveal the top card for both characters. Automatic did it so fast, I didn't even see it. Did you see what it was?
It was automatically to the bottom of the deck. That's what exactly happened. But we did get a Rapunzel on Mark's side. And following it up, I am going to just let you talk now.
Yeah, absolutely. We have the Rapunzel coming down, and then we see that Pluto as well. Both of these players having some form of little pseudo ramp, as I like to call it. Oh, the Pocahontas! I didn't even see the Pocahontas there. So lots of characters coming down. This board continuing to go wide, and Automatic on the other side playing a Demona, being able to exert that entire board while there is no bodyguard. Feels pretty good.
Absolutely. That is a powerful card. Mark has been able to go wide. That new Pocahontas playing down a character that costs 1 or less for free, being able to throw out that Pluto as well. But Demona, this is the classic, hey, you're an aggro deck, but I'm a mid-range deck. So I'm going to continuously put things onto the board and challenge you down. And with Mark at 3, that's not a high enough lore total to be super ultra comfortable to where we are. But if Automatic doesn't start respecting this Mike Wazowski, we're going to see a lot more turns like the one we saw a minute ago.
Yeah, we are going to go ahead and use this Sven to challenge into that Rapunzel. We're also going to use that Isis to get rid of that Dale. So now only leaving... Oh, and that Ham. Boom. Look at that Ham. Get in there, piggy. Only leaving 2 characters
Disrespect Mr. Ham that way.
I didn't know he was down like that. Okay. He was getting in there doing some challenging. But we had only leaving 2 characters on the board in the form of this Pocahontas and this Pluto. Yes, the Pluto can kind of help us cheat out some bigger characters. But not very powerful, as we do see the Eleanor come down.
Oh, if we have a bodyguard, but we can't play it because we did not get our discount on here. But that is such a good strategy for this deck, is that if you have 2 characters, used to you'd be like, oh, they only have 2 characters and they have a Lilo in the discard. That was last set. Now we have to worry about David coming in with bodyguard and immediately giving you that trigger for the 3 exerted characters for the Eleanor. But that's not what we saw here, because we actually had to pay full retail value for that Eleanor with 3 cards in hand. Ink and a Ham over here. What are we gonna do? Oh god,
another Demona Scourge of the Wyvern clan gonna go ahead and exert our opponent's board. We're also gonna get, it looked like we only drew 1 card, but regardless, the card draw sometimes doesn't even matter. So now we are ready to start challenging. But there's cards.
I think we are potentially running it back a little bit, seeing what we have into the discard. Is like, wait, where is the deal?
Okay, we were making sure the damage was properly good. I was like, we definitely...
the Dale was banished first, and then the Ham went into the Mike Wazowski, making sure that the Ham had no damage on it.
Regardless, look at this cleanup. All of the challenging comes through, damage is placed, characters go into the discard pile, and leaving Automatic with 3 characters to Mark's none.
And we play Besties Assembled and grab a Isis Vanderchill off the top. So whatever Mark plays is in danger of being exerted by that villainous thing. Ooh.
We're going to do this Nani Stage Manager. Take a look at the top 4 cards of our deck. You got to imagine, yeah, we'll find something. Look at that. The Enchanted Mike Wazowski Heroic Climber. Absolutely gorgeous. I pulled this card, just so everybody knows. And then going to go ahead and put down another Pluto there. The Friendly Pooch.
Okay, hot take. I actually really love that Mike Wazowski Enchanted. I love it. I know I've heard some thoughts, and you're just nodding your head, and I feel you, but I love the way it looks. I do.
I like it too. I don't know why everybody didn't like it. I thought he was so cute in the background, like with the little like.
It was very like old horror movie with the door frame, you know, like with the thing. It was very cute, very cute. But we will just go ahead and immediately play and pop a guidebook to draw some cards here. Hopefully we can get off to the races. We look in a very commanding position for Automatic as he throws down his own Grandmother Willow, and hopefully we can ramp into something real big.
Yeah, we see that Gaston go into the Inkwell, and then we are playing this Isis Vanderchill exerting that Nani and just continuing to clear Mark's board over and over and over again. Typically, this is not where you want to be if you are the aggro deck. You would want to be way closer in lore by the time your opponent starts controlling here. Automatic looking like this might be a win just off of the lore total alone.
Hey, we can just look at this mic though, and we'll reveal a card, and we'll give you a Tigger, which today you can bounce that Pluto right back to hand if you really wanted to. Now, I will say this is funny as we see another mic come down. If we were at a higher lore total with these Mike Wazowskis, this could be relentless. It could be with the Nanis, and we can go wide. We can play a lot more cards, especially if we have a lot more cards. Now, the problem is this is a tale as old as time. Mid-range is really, really, really good into an aggro strategy. And with those Rapunzels, the Plutos, the Bobbies, this is a very aggressive deck, leaning heavy on that Eleanor strategy. So this matchup is sort of atrocious for Mark here.
Yeah, definitely not feeling good there. We are able to reestablish our board. We have 2 Mike Wazowskis on the board now. Got that friendly pooch still there, and a Bobby as well. But with the amount of Zerd effects that we have seen continue to come out turn after turn, it just feels like, especially considering the strength on Mark's characters, there's not going to be a lot that we can do. And once Automatic starts questing, we are actually going to be trying to chase and be the stop them from being the beatdown, but we just can't keep up. I mean, look at that board color.
There is a total of 1 strength on the board for Mark Miller. And I don't know if you have done the math, but Damona's going to need a little bit more than 1 as Willow loses her mind.
I was trying to say it nicely, and then Color, I was like, yeah, challenging is going to be difficult. And then Color goes in and goes, yeah, 1 strength. As the
math, people, it's disheartening.
As the Augustine Madrigal comes down, and the Tigger as well, just the icing on the cake. We're gonna go ahead and choose what to bounce here. We've got 3 options.
Bounce. Oh yeah, you can't bounce the mic. You can actually just get the Bobby or the Pluto here, but I'll give you that back because it will ramp you. Now, Mark does have 3 cards in hand because you just gave 1 back to him, but that's not, stop it. That's not, this is a really bad matchup, people. It really, really, truly is. And when you have Isis Vanderchill, when you have Tigger, when you also have Sven in your deck, that is basically the formula that Amethyst has used in the past to really run over any type of aggro deck. And now one of the things I'm laughing about it because pre-rotation, Amber and Emerald was so strong that even this sometimes wasn't enough. And now this deck is fair. We're watching a fair strategy. We're watching mid-range run over aggro as it should, okay? Amber and Emerald doesn't get to do everything anymore. It just gets to do a lot of things, but every deck is doing a lot of things. And I think that really speaks to the meta of Attack of the Fine, why this rotation has been extremely healthy for us going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And we laugh and we joke around. We're both good friends with Mark, so we can tease him a little bit here when he watches this back. But, it is one of those things, like you said, sometimes it's just not a favorable matchup. And I think regardless, it's still interesting and good for us as players to see, these players continue to play it out, right? Mark is not just scooping. We play this Eleanor here. We're going to try to continue on and make something happen because the lore totals are still close, right? So let's see. We're going to go ahead and at least we're going to get the Eleanor trigger because we do have 3 exerted characters, and maybe we can slowly start to climb back here as looks like we're just thinking about maybe what we're going to do. We're going to gain that lore, put a damage somewhere. I didn't see where it went, and draw a card.
And now, and again, I mean, we are talking about this. This is a wide board. We were able to take out that island with that Eleanor trigger at the end of our turn. Both players they have a really wide board, but those Mike Wazowskis are generating a ton of advantage. And also that new card where she's part of the Red Panda.
Miriam Mendelsohn.
I was like, I remember her last name being good. But like, so that also drew each player card, but there's just a ton of resources here as the third Demona comes on in. Okay.
Listen, we tried, guys. We wanted it to be a tension-filled match, but Automatic is just drawing out of his mind. We get the Demona exerting the whole board again, and as we can see, we can just continue to clean up. It doesn't matter what we use, honestly, because we have the Augustines for the support. We have characters like Tigger that can challenge for 4 strength. The Ham getting back in it. Okay, I love to see the Piggy throwing it down, doing some challenging. And look at this cleanup. Boom. So it doesn't even matter that Automatic is not questing and is only challenging because Mark just can't keep up. Mark just can't rebuild color.
I know, especially when most of these things only have 0 strength on them. It does make it quite fun to challenge into your board, leaving that lone Miriam Mendelsohn. She's holding it down. I'm glad we learned her name because her being the last character on the board, she deserved to have her name out in the world.
Absolutely. You know, one thing that I will say that is a fun story piece about this game here is, you know, like we said, these are 2 Florida teams, Never Shift, not South Florida. I need to stop saying that. Right here on my own home turf in Orlando versus Triad Group Shop in South Florida. Maybe whoever comes and wins this, you know, best of 3 across all 3 matches tonight can start to say they're the best team in Florida or one of the best. I don't know, remains to be seen. But look at this. Mark is continuing to rebuild with the Bobby Zimmerowski, the Pocahontas, the Aurora, and the David.
I mean, we're only going to 17 lore next turn.
So you're saying there's a chance.
Yeah,
17 isn't 20.
No, it's not. But and again, the other thing I do want to point out is like, I think that Automatic has probably tested this matchup. We all knew that Eleanor Willow was going to be the problem out of the gate. And now this meta has been able to evolve past the point to where this is probably one of the most targeted decks. So it does make sense to me that this would be the disadvantage matchup, but you still have to pay attention to how many cards Mark has been able to put on the board every single turn. It is actually disgusting. And Automatic seems to be wildly prepared for this situation, but we should not take away anything from the fact that we had Miriam Mendelsohn on the board, and look, she's got a party.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, every single turn, Mark has continued to deliver 4, if not more, in this case, characters, turn after turn after turn. It's just like 3 Demonas on the board. Those Demonas, some of those Demonas have not readied in like 2 turns. And so it's just crazy how, you know, even so, despite how, you know, Mark's deck realistically is doing the thing that it wants to do now, because it didn't do it early enough, it just doesn't feel like there's a way. But look at this color, like you said, shooting all the way up to, I guess, 13 is the lore total because we did some challenging and what have you. But I mean, this is definitely game on board if I've ever seen it.
Well, now those Demonas did not ready, like you said, but now we did play the 2 Luisas out of hand, getting us to 1 card in on the. There's only 1 card left over there under that little cute little corgi thing. So Demona will ready all her and her twin sister triplets. That yeah, Mark, I think that's 20. I think there's 20 lore there. Buddy.
There's definitely got to be 20 lore there for sure. But we love to see the finger math coming from the side of Mark Miller. And look at him. He's a champ. He's going to pick the cards back up and see what he can make happen. Definitely more than 1 strength this time. We're going to need to do some challenging. We're going to need to get those Demonas off the board. We're going to need to quest for 1 million. Well, hold on. Okay, look. He's at 7 lore. Okay, what can he quest to? 8, 9, 10. He can quest at 13. He can match wits.
And we had a shift when we could get to 14.
Boom.
Yep. And let me oh my goodness. Listen, never give up, never surrender.
Absolutely. We've never gonna stop. That's Mark, okay? Never gonna stop. He's gonna see what he can do. He's gonna put on a show for us, and he's gonna try to make something happen. And honestly, I think it would be awesome if he could make something happen, to be fair. So why not? Let's see it. You know, he's gonna do the table math, he's gonna do the finger counting, and he's gonna see what he can make of this. Chad, are you excited? I can't wait to see what's gonna happen. Come on, Mark, show us something.
If he slow rolled the scoop, I'm never gonna let him live it down. Never hearing it. Stop doing the table match. Okay, he's got to have something.
He's got to have something we've never color. He's got something we haven't even conceptualized yet. Okay, he's got something we're not even ready for. Well, here we go, paying for. What are we paying for? Dale, ready for a shot. That changes the math. We have some strength here. Okay, all of our characters are now challenging with their willpower. Starting off with the David getting rid of that Demona. Next up, the Miriam gonna finish off the other Demona. That's 4 lore off the board. Color, only a little bit of more lore left to go.
I mean, those were the 2 biggest threats. Now we can definitely, Bobby's going to have his own challenging right, getting rid of the Willow, getting rid of their, hey, we were doing table math. We were running our mouths, but at the same time, Mark was doing math. And that's where you lose me.
He did. He was really sitting there showing us, hey, there's more to be done here. And unfortunately, I do think the task is too tall, but it goes to show that if his board was just a little bit wider, he really probably could have been able to get this down at least a little bit more. Having that Demona having 2 lore, is makes it a little difficult. The 6 willpower on both the Augustine and the Demona makes it difficult as well.
We're at 19.
He did it?
We are at 19. We get one more turn.
He did it! Okay,
turn.
Mark Miller is the GOAT. Mark Miller is the GOAT. You have to give it up. Credit where credit is due. We were making jokes, but he did that, okay, with the challenging, thanks to the Dale. Automatic is not going to quest for game unless we get the Louisa Magical shift. Wait, no. That shift is only quest for 1. Just kidding, but it would have been crazy.
That'd have been crazy. That'd have been actually insane. Now, it would have been really nice if we would have been able to make sure that Demona didn't ready, but she definitely did ready because we did take those Louisa Madrigals and put them onto the board here. Now, the problem is that Mark is at 7. So, he's going to find some lore somewhere. And maybe instead of never shifting, he's going to shift. And there will be a Pocahontas in his future, and that would still not do a lot, but you gotta admire the effort.
Yeah, no, you really do. I mean, I love this about the ICL is like these guys are pros, and so more often than not they will just play it out. And it goes to show like sometimes, obviously in this case, it probably isn't going to work out, but you should always keep playing because you never know what you're going to find off the top of the deck as we go on a quest up to 18. Getting rid of that Pocahontas just to stop that shift, like you said, Color.
Yeah, we do have the 3 damage on there. Yeah, the shift is what we were looking for, and taking out that Pocahontas is basically going to make sure that no shenanigans could happen. Now, the Louisa Madrigals, maybe if we had Under the Sea in there, we shift Pocahontas and sing Under the Sea. You could take out a few of those things. We're getting rid of those Louisas. But at this point, we're at 18. Demona is going to be basically the hardest hurdle to get over here. But Mark says absolutely not. We're going to play a Nani stage manager, dig a little bit deeper and see what we could pull out of our deck here that could get us out of this situation.
I ain't heard no bell. Just kidding. There it is. Scooping it up with 2.
Second star to the right.
Don't do that, Automatic. You were fine. It didn't matter how many second star to the rights you had in hand. You were fine.
Could you imagine if he just sang 2 second star on the right, did not quest, and just double sang second star to the right? It would have been ridiculous. It would have been
awesome.
It was actually the wrong move, but hey.
It would have been the coolest move that he could have done. But no.
And your Demona's never ready ever again.
Triad group shot is gonna take that one as Franz comes in, guest caster here. Hello, were you watching the action?
No, honestly.
Just left me and Willow in the wings, man.
Good.
Yeah.
I was doing some wedding planning stuff. So
okay.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
On that.
Quick question for production. Does that mean ETB did end up winning off screen? Was Pandemonium? What?
He won.
Pandemonium won.
Woo!
Fantastic.
All right.
You guys. That was a 2-0.
Yes.
Alrighty.
All right.
There you have it.
We got the resolution.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we needed to know how it ended. We were so invested.
Yeah.
So invested. So good. I'm glad we skipped off of that because we weren't going to get a game 3 anyway. I'm kidding. What do you think about that matchup? I heard there was Franz, there was a few different debates. Willow and I seemed pretty aligned that it's about 60-40 in the favor of the Control Songs deck, but I'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, I would say I'm pretty close to agreeing there. I think the bots deck right now is very reliant on going on a narrow playstyle. The shift mechanic, while being absolutely fantastic, is one that puts you pretty strapped on resources. And a deck like the green yellow song deck, with the amount of control tools it has, and pseudo board wipes, regular board wipes, under the sea, Philip, whatever. I think they have the ability to really take over a board state. And if bots lose the board state, I think it's really tough for them to get back into it. So I would agree that it's probably 60-40 around that. Probably favors more, obviously, on the play. And I think bots play pretty well on the draw, too. But I think if the green-yellow player is able to get out to a decent start without relying too much on like one singer, because like a lot of times like a green-yellow player will play like just an angel, hope that an Akud sticks and go from there. But a bots deck and a lot of steel decks have the tools to be able to remove that angel right away. And if you do that and the green yellow player stumbles because of it, then you start to run into issues there. So I think if the green yellow player is pretty practiced, like obviously Pandemonium Hearts is, I think it is pretty favored.
All right. I mean, hey, look, and I mean, it's so funny. We're like, oh, it's 60-40. And some people are like, you said it was 0%. It's like, no, that's not actually the truth. It is pretty close. It is dependent. And again, we are dealing with, I don't know what, there's a guide and there is updated. This man has written a guide and updated it in the time that it has taken this set to come out. So you are not like the father of the deck, but like, come on, like that is having to play. The person that wrote the guide on the deck is actually a war. It's kind of serious. So if you're not going to be able to get away with anything, Pandemonium Heart is probably one of those people that you're not going to be able to get away with things when you're playing. But I think we're going to go over to a mystery match. I have no idea. Luke said a lot of words in our ears, and Franz was able to continue to talk through that whole experience. So
it was impressive. It does sound like the next match is going to be ready soon. So I am saying goodbye. I don't know if it will be right now or if in a couple of seconds, but you'll be in two very capable hands, and it'll be interesting to see who can take it out in the next round.
Oh, wow. It happened immediately as we are on our altars here. And we have ETB Carey versus Alabama Hammer. God, you guys got it. I think people are choosing their names just so I have a stroke. But hey, ATL, US, or ATLUS is here. I don't know what that symbol on the playmat is, but it is.
The playmat is insane.
Explain it to me since you.
That it's. Oh, I mean, I believe it's Alabama's state flag, but
okay. Oh God. Okay, we are accessorized to the gills here. Okay, it took me a second. I told Luke earlier, I was like, listen, there are a lot of things that go straight over my head because I get into like a Disney Lorcana mindset. So if I see something outside of it, it goes right over my head, and that is what just happened. But thank you for the giggle, because
it's just Alabama with some hammers, you know what I mean? It's just pretty. It took me completely out of everything. Like I'm all frazzled right now, but it's fine. We get to move on. We see a Tomas for a Pluto. We haven't seen green yellow yet from ATLUS, so this seems to be a place where a lot of teams are going to be putting that green yellow aggressive strategy into seat 2, potentially to get a free on the play, or if they have won game 1, then they just get a good deck in there. And we're seeing a purple yellow deck on the backswing, just pretty normal. We saw the book and the just be a pretty standard ramp into 4-drop deck, and here we are seeing green yellow do what green yellow does, and that is play 2 1-drops on turn 2.
Yeah, we did talk about this because we saw this matchup 45 seconds ago. This is not favored. Now, I would say this one is a wildly unfavored matchup for the Amber and Emerald strategy here. I mean, like I said, the classic mid-range, being able to just play out, curve out, get everything that you need, and then control, especially when you're running the things like Sven and Tigger and Isis Vandershield that will then disrupt this early game plan. But we are primed, locked, and ready for almost a one-cost Eleanor if we so choose this next turn.
Yeah, we're looking in. It's very interesting because like any matchup that green yellow feels unfavored into, it also just feels like there are times where Eleanor, double Eleanor, maybe chaining some Nanis back to back, it still just gets green yellow there, and especially on the play like this. Although I will say it does seem to be a little bit of a stumble in the early game. We don't have the Willow out there. We don't have more than 3 characters out there. So if we are going for Eleanor this turn, we're going to need something to follow up with to make sure that we get it procced again. But we are going to get that Eilonwy. Nothing that Carrie can play next turn will be able to take out that Eleanor. One thing that is very, very good about, not very good, but preferable about this matchup from green yellow side is that nothing really can take out that Eleanor right now. There's obviously some strength-based removal, but I believe that Eilonwy is going to be off the board.
It's interesting to me, though. We did go ahead and quest. Okay, now it makes a little bit more sense. I love this play as we see the David come down. Now we use the Eilonwy to give the strength, the cost reduction of 2, and then we use the 2 ink to play the Eleanor. Then we inked a Nani using the cost reduction of the Pluto's effect to then play a David bodyguard, protecting all of our little ink. All of our ramp characters here, and still at the end of our turn being able to do a damage to that Eilonwy, getting that off of the board and drawing a card and gaining lore. This was an incredible play coming in from Alabama Hammer.
But yeah, also important to know that even if there's a Sven that comes down here, we're able to take out 2 cards, but it doesn't stop Alabama Hammer from being able to proc that Eleanor again with just the cards on board, not even needing another bodyguard, although another bodyguard obviously is going to be fantastic.
This was a phenomenal play. Kind of for a second there, I was wondering, like, what are we doing there with those Auroras being really patient? But at the same time, that was a wildly devious way of going about it, as the Dumbo, 9th Wonder of the World, is the follow-up play coming in from Carrie.
Yeah, and this is a bit scary looking at the purple yellow player here. We have just a large board from green yellow. We have an Eleanor on board that is already procced once, likely going to be procking again. A second Eleanor coming down would be absolutely big backbreaking. But even then, this is still threatening 7 lore. No, six lore right now. And we're probably going to be able to take out second Eleanor.
Eleanor. Oh my god! Basically, I didn't want to see it. You didn't want to see it. Chat or Carrie didn't want to see it. There was part of me that was like, "Don't have the second Eleanor. It's not fair." Is this something that people are doing? Are they literally just altering until they find 2 Eleanors? Because that is what we keep seeing here on the ICL.
I mean, if you're playing a deck and you're playing the deck in hopes of going first in one game, I believe you're probably going to be building that deck to go for the best high roll possible. And a deck like green yellow being able to find 2 Eleanor, there are not many decks that can consistently beat those openings. So it just is what it is. I am a bit surprised here that we're leaving up the ham. I would normally expect a lot of decks to just put decks onto a single threat to potentially remove stuff, but we are about 7 characters wide at this point. We have a bodyguard, so does it matter? Who knows?
I mean, we were able to go ahead and put 2 damage onto that Dumbo, so challenging isn't going to be that fun for the Dumbo as well. And I mean, you left the hand, but like, really, what is that 1 extra ink gonna give us? It's not going to give you an Elsa Fifth Spirit. That card is literally gone. Even if it gives you a Hades, you can draw 2 cards. I do not care. So at this point, 2 Eleanor on the board, bodyguard, and enough ramp that Amber should have never had. And look, Willow's not even on the board right now. I don't think there's a 5-drop in the deck that I care that you have.
No, it is a very unfortunate board state here. Even if we take out the David, we're losing the Dumbo with the David. We're setting up the ham to get blown up by these double Eleanors on board. And again, it's just a matter of fact of even though we have a big character on board in the Madrigal, we don't have enough characters to battle. We don't have enough characters to take anything out. We're not even close to 8 ink. it's just a rough situation here. The green yellow going first, getting double Eleanor, even without Willow, is just it's a lot.
The double the Pluto into double Aurora into being able to follow up with the David was insane. And hey, we got a Mowgli for the vibes. Let's see what we have in hand. And it was the Hades, was the Willow, and there is another Dumbo. So I'm wondering what order that we drew those cards, trying to figure out what we felt like was going to be more impactful, seeing the Dumbo come down on that 4 ink turn or the 3 ink turn because of the reduction from the ham. So we're going to go ahead and actually, like you said, quest out and as a treat, do 2 damage to the ham, finishing that off and drawing 2 cards. What do you think the carry is going to have to do to win this game?
Figure out what he's doing next game.
Yes. So we will go ahead and play the Hades, let you draw the 2 cards and scoop it up and go on to game number 2, I believe.
Yep, we're going to game 2. Carrie absolutely going to be looking here. Very happy to be on the play for this matchup as a deck like Purple Yellow and Blurple before it as a something that plays those ramps on turn 2, looking to get into those 4-drops. It is sacrificing a little bit of power on the board to get to those 4-drops and those 5-drops a turn early. So being able to go first against this green-yellow aggressive strategy can help. Whereas they can play the Tigger on turn 3, be able to bounce a Willow, maybe stop Hamma from being able to drop an Eleanor, or at the very worst, we can have access to Svens, we can have access to Dumbos, we can have access to the Augusta, and we can just start to build a big enough board to essentially stop something like that Eleanor into David play from giving that one Eleanor about 2 or 3 procs. We might not be able to stop one Eleanor proc, but the name of the game is going to be stopping more than one.
Right. And basically, I would say, though, that opening that Alabama had there was an opening that would make everybody go, and that is my professional analysis on that. Now, there are not a lot of decks that are going to be able to fit to do anything about that opening. Now, in the past, if you're opening like that and your opponent is a control deck, you're in danger. But the problem is Carrie opened really slow, even for this mid-range deck. So those cards that you were talking about before, the Tigger, the Sven, the Isis Vanderchill, those are what we wanted to see on that 4 ink turn, not a Dumbo. That is not a card that we would love to see. So hopefully we can draw into those now, being able to know what we're against, that we're going into game 2. Our altar, we get to go first. They have a way better chance of making sure their early game matches the strategy that this deck is trying to do.
Yep, and that even goes down to the 1-drop that they play, like the Illumineer. While a very good tool, it has some very, very cool abilities. It's not going to really do much into this matchup. It has 1 willpower. It's not going to be able to battle that much. And if you're using your ham to ramp into a 4-drop, your Illumineer is not going to be doing much. And so, like playing the Louisa, the 1-drop, the 0/3, the Louisa going into a ramp, going into maybe an Isis Vanderchill, that's going to give you a lot more value for that 1-drop than that Illumineer does. So we're probably going to be looking for the Illumineer, looking for our ramp, either it's Ham or Willow, and then we're probably looking for Tigger, we're looking for Isis Vanderchill, we're looking for Sven, something like that, and potentially, hopefully, into another 5-drop, whether it's Hades or the Lisa shift, and then ultimately into a Demona to start to really clear the board.
Yeah, and that is actually the unbeatable for the other side of it, to where Amber Animal's like, how do I come back from this? Well, you don't. So that is basically the line that we're looking for. And what Carrie just doesn't want to see is 2 Eleanors. You have a plan for the first one, but the second one, you can't bring any more friends. We invited 1 to the party, and you keep bringing all these Eleanors in here, and I don't love it.
No, looks like we do have a pass on turn 1 from Carrie. Not super ideal. Not the end of the world, though. Like I said, we still have the play, which means a Tigger on turn 3 would be pretty ideal. And on the back end, we see just a regular old Aurora.
Regular old Aurora. Now, notably, what this deck does not like to do is, like, sometimes before it's like, oh, do you have your ramp, which is your Aurora or your Willow or your Pluto? And if you don't, you really can't keep the Eleanor. But guess what? I just named 3 pieces of character ramp: Aurora, Willow, and Pluto, that helps you accelerate your game plan and get that Eleanor out faster. So it's like this deck is it's very difficult to brick with this deck, and everything propels you to that game plan. But we will, and this is another new game plan. This Pocahontas guiding the tribe, I don't know, but she's lets you play a free 1-drop in the form of a Bobby, which will let you draw and then discard.
And it's like, what did green yellow need? It just needs more. It needs more ways to play 2 characters on turn 2. It needs more.
That is why this deck was so scary coming out post rotation, because the redundancy of the Amber ramp, the redundancy of playing things for free, as well as now with the Mike Wazowski, which we did see into the discard here, being able to reveal a character and put it into your hand. Nani doing about the same thing. Bestie's a symbol doing this the same thing. Even in this last matchup we saw before, the Amber and Amethyst deck was doing a very good job of controlling the board, but Amber and Emerald is still relentless.
Yeah. And it, like I said, like Amber, Eleanor's going to get procs. The deck is going to get their lore early on just because of how the deck is built. The important part is how you're able to stem the bleeding, how you're able to set up your own board to get one nice big removal suite and start to take back in your favor. Like here, we're playing our 4-drop and it is an Augusta. So in this case, we aren't stopping the Eleanor next turn. If the Eleanor's in the hand, it's coming down. Versus if it was a Tigger, maybe, then we can bounce the Aurora and then stop the Eleanor for just a turn and develop a 4/3 body. Eleanor comes down a little bit late. We have opportunities to exert it with Isis or Demona, and that is when we start getting off to the races. But here's when we start to really bleed a little bit, because if an Eleanor comes down here, that ham is gone. Then we're down to 1 character. We don't. Like we maybe have Sven,
but instead we see the David coming in. That is a bodyguard, and he's coming in quite ready. Maybe showing a little bit of patience here as we throw down another secret, super glary character that we'll read about later. But this is a really good spot. You're like as if you're going to be able to like make that. Okay, so this is actually a really good spot because we are being a little bit more patient. That shows that we don't have the Eleanor. What this deck that Carrie is playing is able to do, if we are able to then exert Augustin, give that Eleanor a +3 strength, and then use our Gaston on it, that is a way to deal with the first Eleanor. But we are going to go ahead and ink the Hades, showing a little bit of restraint because Alabama is going a little slower here, and using the Isis Vanderchill to exert a character. It will be the Snow White.
Pocahontas.
You're right. That is Pocahontas. That is a crazy difference between those 2 princesses.
And very, very important from Carrie's side here, recognizing that we're no longer going to be able to stop an Eleanor coming down next turn with them going to 4 ink. So we're going on to the next best thing, which would be potentially a Pocahontas shift, which would give a lot of free lore, not being able to challenge. And for purple yellow, that is how we're going to be able to remove most of our cards here outside of the Gastons or maybe World's Grudge Criminal Mind. So heads up play to correctly identify the best threat on the board, in my opinion, and to take it out with that Isis. And again, this is where we start to claw back. We're evening up the board a little bit with the amount of characters. We have a bit of beef and challenging, and we're going into a potential Demona turn that can really start to damage Alabama Hama's game plan.
We did see a Willow come down for a second, but then we're going to do a little bit of a takesies backsies, as we will probably quest out with the Aurora, giving that 1 lore as well as the reduction of 1 to the Eleanor. There she is. Never didn't have it. And now we will go ahead and take this for a quest here as well. So take it for a full quest, making sure we can get our lore as well as that Eleanor trigger. Now, there isn't a lot on the board that we can take out with this 1 damage. So we have a couple cards in hand, being able to draw up to 1 card, doing a damage onto the ham. Now, if we have things available to us, this board is looking wide, but now I think depending on Carrie's next turn here, we could hopefully turn the corner.
Yeah, so it looks like here we're going to be able to take out at least 2, if not more things. We can take out 3 things here, even without a Demona. So being able to stop a potential Eleanor from another Eleanor proc is very important. We are choosing to go with a route to support into something Let's see if it is the Gaston.
Yes!
Yep, Gaston taking out the Eleanor, and this is very, very, very swingy for Carrie here, being able to take out the David with the Isis and potentially even the Aurora with the Ham if we so choose. This is a very nice turn. We're really starting to turn the board back to us, and we're not even that far behind. We're only at 5 lore from Alabama Ham's point of view, and Eleanor coming down back again on this this turn isn't even going to proc. So we're really looking good this game.
That is what we needed to see here. That was the turn I was talking about. This is the corner that we did need to turn. And Carrie showing a little bit of restraint there because Alabama Hammer did not play that Eleanor down that turn. They held that back. Maybe they didn't draw it. And using that Gaston combo to get that up on out of here. But Alabama follows up with a Pluto and a Willow and kind of refilling the board, keeping everything active, not doing any questing in safe. But I think that was the turn. This is going to be how we follow it up and making sure that we can keep applying pressure because, again, Alabama's only at 5. We're at 1. We have 4 characters. They have 4 characters. All of ours have a lot more strength than theirs as we throw down the Willow.
Yeah, it looks like we're, again, just going wide here again. We drop down the Cheshire Cat. Absolutely fantastic draw here. We're just locking up any potential comeback mechanic from Alabama Hammer here. That cat being able to essentially take out anything that is upright with 2 willpower or less, or less. And now we're just going to be able to quest. Even though there's not a ton of lore pressure on these cards, we are just building a board that Alabama Hammer can't quest into. So we're gonna need a bit of magic from the top decks in terms of Mike's chaining into Nani's, chaining into Eleanor's again, and maybe even then we need to say a little bit of a please Ravensburg, help me.
I mean, this is exactly what we're talking about. Before, that first game was an example of what we like to call the highest of rolls. So there are not a lot of things that you can do in that first game situation to come back from here. This is more of what you would expect out of this matchup. Seeing the early board control, setting everything up. Even if we would have had that Eleanor out 1 turn earlier, the ham ramp was going to be able to let us do that Gaston thing on that turn as well. So it did seem like we were saving that removal for the Eleanor, which we see another one come out, but being at 5 lore and passing over, we're going to have to do some magical things here to see if we can overtake this wide board that Carrie has going on.
And this is a pretty similar concept as playing to your outs. So Alabama Hammond knows that just turning sideways for 1 Eleanor proc isn't going to get him back into the game here. However, being able to force Carrie to have more exertion, have the nail in the coffin, and if they don't, then Hammer gets another turn, hopefully too, to even start to chain those Mike Wazowskis, like I was talking about, chain those Nanis, be able to really leverage this Eleanor into hopefully multiple procs.
But we see that Cheshire Cat being able to be boosted, and like you can go ahead and take out this Bobby Zemaruski here, or just really anything. But we're gonna take a little bit of time to think about it because hey, it's either the Pluto or the Bobby. You got 2 choices here, but that Cheshire Cat was just kind of hiding off to the side, and I literally forgot all about it. But we do choose to take the Bobby.
Yeah, it's tough sledding out here for Alabama Hammer. It doesn't look good, but we do know that purple yellow quests very, very slowly. So we're looking for some Mike Wazowskis off the top of the deck to hopefully put some more pressure back on the board in our favor and maybe eke something out of here.
Now we are going to go for a little bit of a little tiny quest just for fun. Nothing hefty, keeping that Augustine up, active, and ready, as well as our Cheshire Cat and our Willow. Saving these as special tools that we could probably use for later. I think now we are just waiting for a Demona. Alabama is just drawing a card, looking at it, playing it, and going, please don't be Demona. And Carrie has not found them yet.
Taking a little bit of time here, hopefully maybe seeing what they have in hand. Potentially that can get us to more cards deeper down in the deck. More Eleanors. That does it. We get more cards with Eleanor. But again, that's not really making our board that much wider. So even a double Eleanor proc here, it is not really anything super good. We can put some damage onto the Gaston if we want to, and then take it out. But we have that Cheshire Cat lurking. We have that Augustin lurking here. It just doesn't seem to be enough right now. So we just choose to turn it all sideways, push ourselves to 10, and kind of just pass it over.
Yeah, we did use that 2 damage to get rid of that pesky Willow, because you did keep it upright, so it was the perfect Willow target. Potentially, maybe you were saving that extra ramp you wanted. I mean, what if you have Monstro in here? Is that what you were doing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That actually would have been 8. Does Carrie have Monstrous Dragon? That card rotated, I think.
Yeah, actually, Color. I think that card's not legal.
I was like, wait, I'm pretty sure that rotated, because I was like, what?
Yes, I believe that card is no longer legal.
I was thinking of a world where we wanted 8 ink. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, I was like, Monster's not legal. I was like, there's no way Monster's legal, because someone would be playing Monster combo right now. Someone would be doing it.
100%. But we are taking a little bit of time to think about our turn here, as Augustin is going to go for a little bit of a quest. So we might have a Gaston waiting for us, but we went for the little quest, gave the Gaston the support to cleanly take out the Eleanor. So Gaston took out Eleanor in a different way this time. First time it was the strength. Now it's actually good old-fashioned challenge. But here comes the boost from the Cheshire Cat to move that damage on to really anything. You could take out potentially, they're both 0 strength, so challenging into either the Pluto or the Thomas, I don't think you care.
Yeah, it's a weird choice here. It's very much a like, I don't think it really matters that much. You can put 2 damage onto the Eleanor if you really want to, but that Gaston alone is taken out an Eleanor in terms of an ETB effect, and ETB, and challenged another Eleanor to banishment. So that single Gaston has taken out 2 Eleanors and has quested once. So a lot of value there.
Yeah, we see another Cheshire Cat. Very, very strong card there. Now there's 2 on the board. They're both at 10 lore, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lore. I mean, we're not out of it yet, but Mike Wazowski, High Climber, comes in, and we will reveal a Demona. There she is. Oh, she's made it to the party. And if you're Mike Wazowski, you probably hate to see that. You hate to see it.
There was actually a really funny line available to carry where instead of using Augusta to quest and support, we could have sent Augusta and Gaston into that one Eleanor, and then played a cat and then double cat boosted to take out the unexerted Eleanor. That would have been funny.
How do I want to win? The world is my oyster. And that's basically how this is. And this is such a contrast to the matchup that we saw before. And this is what I was talking about. I think that Amber Emerald has haunted us for so long that we were like, ugh, double Eleanor figures. We have the tools now. We have the technology. The dogs are gone. Tramp is not here anymore. And so if you get your good start, and the other he's like, I know it's a Demona, I gave it to you. Here, we're just gonna go ahead and throw that down. And you does give your opponent 3 cards, but again, only being at 10 lore, let's just throw it down in Louisa for the vibes, because we can. Really shoring up how we want to get to 20 lore.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's just a hop, skip, and the jump away. We're able to clear out the board here, so it doesn't really matter how much we quest here, as long like we have about 8 or 9 characters on the board. Quest 1, stake out the board. Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah, just maybe making sure that you can't. I would take out the Mike Wazowski. Just get rid of that.
Oh yeah, we're clearing the board. Everything's gone. Everything's gone.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because we still have we don't have ink available to us yet. But again, if things aren't doing 0 damage, or things are doing 0 damage to your characters, you don't really need to move a ton of damage around. So I think you're pretty safe there. And this does show this is a true aggro deck. It really is. And it is so refreshing to see, because I think we got almost like bullied so long with our aggro deck and this game being able to do so many different things. And hey, look, I found another Eleanor, and we throw our cards down, and that might be game number 3 or game number 2. Okay.
Go into game 3.
All right. I didn't know if we were okay. The way he threw it down, I was like, is that how you? Anyway, we will go on to game number 3 here. Alabama being on the play, playing this aggressive strategy. ETB carry being on the draw, playing the mid-range strategy. Now that we know how to alter on both sides, know what we're going up against, I think that we're just looking for double Eleanor. Thoughts?
I mean, yeah, we've seen a bit of Carrie's deck so far in these last 2 games. We haven't seen Tigger, which is, I think, very good for Hammer if there's not Tigger, or if there's low counter Tigger of Tigger. Hammer Tigger, I don't know. So hopefully Hammer's going to be mulliganing for just the normal curve out, looking for an Eleanor, potentially 2. Another, but more importantly than the second Eleanor, I think we're looking for ways to make sure the first Eleanor gets multiple triggers. So if we're just going for 2 Eleanors and like a 1-2-1, that's a little bit scary, because if you turn everything sideways and Carrie has the board to take out your stuff and stop the Eleanor from proccing again, then that's really hard to start to build advantage. But when we are able to go Eleanor with a board that can untap and get Eleanor again, and then drop the other Eleanor, that's when it really starts to just snowball.
Yep, and we will see here. We're gonna go ahead and count it out. I think we already did the cut. Oh yeah, the famous 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. What do you usually say, Franz? Tell us the meta on the dice pile choosing.
Oh, I do it randomly every time. So generally, if I see a clock in the room, I will choose. I will break the clock into thirds.
Nope.
And I will look at it, and whatever the hand is on, that'll be the first pile, and then I'll just choose randomly for the 2 piles.
That is a special type of way, and this is I don't know if that's what makes you better at the game than me, because you think of things like this, but I am straight up just going to repeat what my opponent says, and that is a little bit of a so you're like, what is the trajectory of the Earth in the southern hemisphere? And I'm just like, I will do what you did. And so that might be the difference between the 2 of us, and the fact that I have not won as many games of Disney Lorcana as you have.
I would say that alone is probably not the reason. That's not like Franz is in the stratosphere.
I think it's a good indication. It's a good start of the difference between our brains, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I do things like this in accordance with like some like poker theory, where the human brain and the human mind can't really be random at all times. And if you think you're being random, you're following some sort of unconscious pattern. So if you're able to set a rule for yourself on how to be like truly random, then you can play some different percentage lines that, like, if you have a line that's good into some percentage of your opponent's hand range, and a line that's like not as good, or like, if it just like depends. Like it doesn't happen much in Lorcana, but you can do stuff like that to try and like play random, not be as predictable.
All right, well, I'm going to continue to lose games of Disney Lorcana as we see the Aurora trading. Here we go, the perfect start. The Luisa Madrigal coming in here. This is what we want to see. We want to see this 0-3. We want to see a challenger, but the Aurora is waiting in the wings and waiting for that early Eleanor.
Yeah, and this is exactly what we want from both sides at this moment. We see the double Aurora setting up for potentially Eleanor plus Thing to hopefully get that Eleanor a second proc. Let's see what Carrie's doing here. Are we looking for double 1-drop? Are we looking for a ramp of our own? We'll see.
I mean, something. We got to go toe for toe here. Maybe we can get that Willow on the board to get out that early Tigger and disrupt some of the stuff that you have going on. Now we do see this is an identical play what Alabama had on game number 1 with the 2 Aurora into the ramp. So being able to then ink and play a David after you play your Aurora is going to be actually less good, because you're going to be able to, it's going to use that immediately, but the math still evens out. If I'm correct, so because you'll have the 3 reduction on your Eleanor, and then you can ink and play the David. So still gross, Nasty.
Yeah, it's the same amount of mana ink being floated here.
Yes.
The only difference is the two Auroras can quest, and the Willow can also quest. So you just get +1 ink, +1 lore out of the exchange rather than -1 lore.
Pluto's a good boy, but we did get our ham ramp. It's here on turn 2, so everybody's going exactly where they want to be. We could get the Isis Vanderchill out, active and ready, but at this point, we probably maybe wanted like a Sven or something else to rush in and handle this being on the draw, because those characters are already really going to be exerted, so I don't know how...
Yeah, a Sven would be the best option into the play that we think is the best right here, which is going to be the Eleanor into the David, because the Sven can take out the David, and then we have 2 things that can take out 2 more of those characters, which, like I said, would stop the Eleanor from proccing again on the next turn.
Oh, but we don't see an Eleanor. We see a Pocahontas into a Aurora.
Yep, another Aurora.
So we've got triplets here. They're all holding court, and we got to play one of them for free. So they are discounting each other.
We can still play Eleanor here. We can still play Eleanor here.
I just did the math. That's disgusting. This deck is so gross. And shifting the Pocahontas onto itself. And if none of your characters have challenged this turn, you could go ahead and safe quest everything. So we can't deal with the board. That Sven does nothing. Nothing can challenge. You're going to have to come up with some other way to get these characters off of the board. Tigger would help, but not really anymore.
Yeah, that's a tough one right there. So we do go to 3, I believe, on Alabama Hammer's lore, which is not being shown. I think the lore might be swapped production. But then we're going to 3. We're threatening what? 2, 4, 6. We're threatening up to 9 plus whatever we play. And Eleanor here will be pretty crazy.
Yeah, this was a wild turn coming in from Alabama, showing that there are alternative lines, that, hey, there are new and inventive ways that Amber and Emerald can terrorize you guys. Just look what we've done. And we will go ahead and thumb up this ham here. Are we going to ham ramp, or are we going to ham chill into an Aurora or a Willow?
Can't do that. Can't do that.
That's right. You can't. Oh my goodness. Pocahontas this early is rude, but we will go ahead and ham into a Willow of our own, going ahead, setting up for next turn, potentially doing a little bit of the table math here to make sure we have enough turns to handle this, to set up. But it's looking a little rough.
And I'll tell you what, these Amber matchups are just like watching the Oprah Winfrey show. You get ink. You get ink. Everyone gets ink.
Yeah, you get a free character. I get a free character. Wait, you got more free characters than me, and I am going to speak to the manager. But thinking about our ink here on Carrie's side, we did go ahead and play down that Willow for 1. So we have still 3 ink available to us, which is the perfect amount of ink for a Tigger if we so choose. But maybe we just have to get over the shock of what has happened to be able to then play the character that we're looking for. And it's a Cheshire Cat.
Cheshire Cat. It's nice, and this is a very good setup for when that board does turn sideways again. What if it's not a Pocahontas? What if we have a second one?
If you shift Pocahontas on top, I've seen that, but we're actually just going to start out with a Bobby. We're going to start out with a respectable, free Bobby, because I don't know if you've noticed, but Alabama Hammer does have 2
cards. Yep.
So if we have another princess in hand, we could do whatever we want. We could literally do whatever we want. We could have a free Eleanor here, but a Mowgli, just to make sure, just to see what we have going for us.
Hey, the Tigger.
They did have the Tigger. He was there and ready. So I like this, being able to set up our board a little bit to where if we have some damage left over, we are able to go ahead and move that over.
So important to note, with that hand knowledge, we know that there's no Hades, we know that there's no Demona. So if we don't have a way to really gain some advantage like a Mike or an Eleanor, it's possible that just sticking straight up and waiting for another draw or 2 is the correct decision. Who knows? It depends on what else is in Alabama's hand. What else has he seen? He chooses to go for the challenge route. A little bit scary with that Cheshire Cat on board, but that Pocahontas is able to take care of it, and we do have some more decisions here.
Pocahontas taking care of that, making sure that we can't get to that Hades or the Demona early, like you were saying, but we are going to just full send on a hefty quest all the way up to 7 here, saying my board is wide, my hand is sort of fine, and you need to deal with me. I am excited to see Carrie follow up here. We do have 4 ink kind of with the Willow available to us. If we could ink and then go to 5.
We know we had the Tigger in there. The Hades would have to be from the top of the deck. This is a little bit interesting. It's not like super clean with the Cheshire Cat right now because we would.
It's a shift, Luisa Madrigal. Wait a minute.
Hold on a minute.
Now we will be able to challenge in cleanly, getting rid of that Pocahontas, get her up on out of here, doing about 3 damage back, and that is the threshold for this Luisa Madrigal, because you can pay 1 to move a damage from your character to her. If there is 3 damage or more, then you can move that to a chosen opposing character, and that is an ability that you can continuously do no matter how much ink that you have. So if we are going, we can actually challenge in and then pay the 2, because if we ink, we have the 2 available ink to us. So you could challenge him with a Cheshire Cat and then still move more damage if you want. Now, it is only 1 damage at a time, but you can protect your Cheshire Cat that way, or you can ink and just move. There's so much that we could do. Damage moving is so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that the Luisa has the ability to have 3 damage on it, pay 1 to take the extra damage and move it before she's banned. I think that's such a cool interaction.
100%. And we are going to go ahead and move the damage over to the Luisa. And then before it's banished, now we can go ahead and move that 3 damage. So now we're healing the Cheshire Cat as well as getting that. Again, it's like you said, I forgot about that little interaction. I forgot about that. I forgot it works like that. That's crazy. So we got one of those Auroras up on out of here. And we have 2 fully healthy characters after a little bit of cheeky challenging.
And it looks like Alabama Hammer is empty-handed at the moment. No Eleanor's, not able to refill his hand. No Mike Wazowski's. This was a pretty good start to the game, but unfortunately we are just petering out, and now we are staring down Cheshire Cat and Big Luisa. This is very, very tough to come back from.
Those are, again, those damage moving, because those characters only have 1, there's like a 4 strength between all of those 4 characters on the board. Yep. So you will be leaving little incremental pieces of damage. And again, everything in Alabama Hammer's deck has lower willpower to begin with. So with the ability to pay as many times as you want with the Luisa, you could challenge all 4 of your characters into all 4 of their characters and then just pay the 4 and then go ahead and take out mostly everything that Alabama has in their deck, other than potentially that larger Pocahontas, which we can't even play right now because we got 2 ink, now 3. Oh, we did ink the Amber Champion. It notably does cost 4 and stuck at 2 ink. We were not able to play that off the top of our deck.
Yeah, we are looking at there's a Hades there. Is a Hades coming in?
It's a Hades. Hey, do you want to let me draw some of these cards? I tried to do a thing there. It didn't work. But it's like, hey, do you want to let me draw some cards? That's basically what he says here, is it looks like we are not going to make a deal with that Lord of the Dead and put that Aurora onto the bottom of our deck.
Yeah, this is definitely a position that Hama did not want to be in. It looks like he was forced into that early shift play as kind of a desperation move. Nothing really to back it up. We're just staring at a very large board that we have pretty much no shot of removing. I'm looking through everything. I'm racking my brain. Tramp's gone. Maybe if we can get a Dale, but we only have 3 ink, and everything's 2 willpower anyway. It's not looking good. It's not looking good.
It is. This is a little bit another example of a game where we actually set up to find Eleanor and they did not. Right. So the game 1, we saw that you set up yourself to have one of the most disgusting lines I've seen in this new meta, and it really paid off because it became relentless very, very quickly. This third game, we also did that, where we set up as much as we possibly could, put ourselves in the best possible position to find the Eleanor, and then did not find the Mike Wazowskis, haven't found the Nanis, haven't found anything to help us be relentless in this. And we're at 7 lore, but that's not enough to get past this Louisa and this Cheshire Cat.
Yeah, it is not great. Not looking good. Not looking good at all.
Excellent analysis coming in from Franz over here. Thank you so much for joining me tonight on the ICL. It is Wednesday, and Franz has checked completely out of this matchup, but we're here, guys, and Demona comes down, exerting the last little bit of Alabama's hope. But hey, it did give him 3 cards.
Love those 3 cards. It's about the only cards he has left to his name after these challenges.
Again, there's a give and take. There's a give and take. Had you gotten that Eleanor, you would have been so far in lore advantage that giving your opponent 3 cards at this point might have been horrifying. So I'm getting rid of these cards. But if we were at 12, 13 lore, it's like, fine, sure, you can have my board. I wasn't doing anything with it anyway. But 7 is just not a scary lore total.
No, this deck, when it gets to points like this, it wants to be in that 15, 17 range where like a Mike Wazowski off the top of the deck can get you into position to put Lorthal on the board and potentially get there in a turn, maybe 2. But if you're getting to this point and you're at less than 10 lore, it's not great.
And taking our Inkwell for a little bit of a spin around the block there as we think about the 3, now 4 cards in hand. Putting down a Thomas, and another 1-drop is a Pluto. And can we keep this train rolling? It's not. Now, this is the problem, okay? We've controlled it. It's an aggro matchup. And now I have to sit here and watch you quest with your 1 questers and Demona. And if you quest with a Demona, you have so many cards in hand, it's not even going to ready, so you can't even get there faster. So in a world where we maybe drew those resources that we needed, we might have a little bit of space and time. But there are also positions coming back from aggro where you're like, oh my God, an Isis Vanderchill, leave me alone, let me live, says Thomas. And Carrie says, no, I won't.
No. There's no mercy here. We have a board full of 1 questers. We gotta get this board clear so we can start questing with them. Let's go. Let's get on it.
Let's get on and after it. We will go ahead, boost the Cheshire Cat after moving the damage to the Louisa to then take that damage and give it to the Pluto. Here, that's yours. Thank you for moving into the neighborhood. Goodbye. And now we have our Thomas that will be able to get challenged on by who cares? Anything. Literally anything. Oh, pain. But look, we went on a decent little quest, and now Alabama does not have a board, and Carrie says pass. Let's see what you got in your hand.
Yeah, we are also not looking at game on ETB Carrie's board for next turn, so we do get 1 more turn of purple playing a few cards and then paying to move some damage, maybe.
Well, we don't have any damage to move yet. But
hey!
It's Eleanor, always late to the party for the full retail value. Not what you want to see if you are Emerald and Amber. And I swear, I will get over the trauma of last set. I will. The pre-rotation thing will leave me, and I'll stop being mean to this deck. But today is not that day, Franz. Also, shout out ATB Carrie. We'll see.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
I mean, fantastic games played.
Another Isis and a double.
Fantastic games played by Carrie here. The game 1 we saw that their hand just didn't seem to be constructed to beat an aggro deck, and then she took the next 2 games in stride, even taking back the even going down to game 3 where she is on the draw against this aggro deck and taking it all the way back. Just an absolutely fantastic game.
And there is an Ursula. Well, I don't have any cards in hand because they're on the board. So it's an Under the Sea. Now listen. Let's throw them all out there. I don't know. I will say, okay, I made a lot of jokes and I laughed about it. And, it's fine. We'll move on. But I think exactly what you said. The altar at the very beginning of the game, it was obviously you don't know what you're playing against. Carrie had a different, slower hand. And then once they saw the matchup, you immediately started seeing those cards that are relevant in this situation. And we did start out saying that even though Amber Emerald is a very, very strong deck, Amethyst and Amber is the deck that counters it very, very well.
Yeah, there's a ton of just cards that are built to handle aggro. We have the damage movers, we have big willpower, we have even like Tigger and Sven to really start to take away options on the board, even from a thinner board state on our own. So entering an Eleanor with a Sven, with a Tigger, being able to go back and stop Eleanors from getting extra procs, even from positions where they go ramp into Eleanor plus David, being able to stop that Eleanor from getting another war unless they have another David. It's one of those things where at some point, if you have to force them to have the out so many times, having it 2 out of 3 games in a row where they have the ramp into David, into Eleanor, David, another Eleanor, it's just not going to statistically happen 2 out of 3 games that often.
It always feels a little bit different when we're like, oh man, that line was so strong. This deck is oppressive, blah, blah, blah. And it's like when I always like the conundrum of back in the day where like, what was the math on Diablo, shift Diablo, play Cove, sing, whatever. Like, yes, that was the strongest line in the game for the longest time.
Do you actually want the math on that?
Yes, I do, because that's the thing is like, because it was astronomically high, but at the same time, it felt like it happened to me 100% of the time.
Do you want just Cove plus Sing or just Cove?
Just Cove.
Just Cove. It's about a 27 to 32% chance, depending on how you're altering.
But the shift Diablo was much higher. Like just getting shift Diablo was much higher too, right?
Yes, yeah. Like getting Diablo on 2 was like close to a 50-50 at some point.
Was it really that low? I thought it was above 50%.
Oh, it's because of like the way that you have to alter. You don't always want to keep the 3-drop Diablo if you don't have the 1-drop Diablo, and with the amount of like yeah, it depends on the format. It depends on how your deck is built, but like just on average between like 50 and sometimes we got to 60%. I got to 60% like one time, and that was crazy.
Yeah, it was.
Got some ambient noise from the ETB Discord.
Yeah, I was going to say some ambient Pandemonium Heart noise. All right, well, okay, it's the entire team. And I'm going to leave that to you guys. Because I gotta go. I can't.
Okay. There we go.
Thank you. I was like, yeah, they're going to get set up. And that was a crazy little bit of thing. I don't know. Could the chat hear that, Luke? Or was that just us? Oh, you were just torturing everybody. So just to catch you guys up, Luke has Pandemonium Heart in our ears right now as they're trying to set up for the interview.
I'm just wondering about
interview. Yep.
There we go.
Thank you for saving us for now. Now you guys are back. Okay, that's fine.
That's good.
Welcome Team ETB from the ETB store.
Okay, can they hear you though? That's what I'm wondering.
We can hear you.
Oh, you can hear us. Okay, great.
Okay, great. Then you're good.
Thank you.
Welcome, Carrie. Fantastic game. I just want to ask a few questions. First of all, going into that game 2 and 3 after that game 1, what were you thinking of that matchup? How you were going to change your alter, change the potential style of play for that specific matchup?
Yeah, well, obviously, once I knew what it was, I was not looking for my Illumineers anymore on turn 1. They're not long for this world. So yeah, I was looking more for building my board with either willows or hands as quickly as I could as well. I knew I had a better advantage, obviously, when I was on the play. So it was more on the draw that I was valuing more finding the cat early and just kind of having the exerts early. So that's it.
Yeah, obviously, we have the Scourge of Eleanor joining us, but it seems like your deck is teched pretty well to to handle those Eleanors, to handle those like wide boards early on. Can you tell us a little bit about how you feel like with the Louisas, with your Cheshire Cats, anything that you think specifically your deck does very well against that deck?
I think the Louisa, obviously, in game 3 was a big being able to get her out and deal with that early. But I haven't not been actually playing the deck for very long. I was more on Amber Steel, but there's maybe somebody else who's
can't play Amber Steel in that store apparently.
Yeah, so just the last couple of days, I've just been trying to get reps on this. I've played a lot of Blurb in the past, and I kind of felt some similarities and just
for sure
with the purple cards at least. So
yeah, awesome. Like I said, fantastic games, Carrie. Would you like any other shout outs before we start to find another game and move away and not let Elias get on stream?
Yeah, I'll just shout out obviously the team and my opponent as well. It was really nice meeting them, a new team to the league. So that's it.
Awesome. Thank you, Carrie. Good luck with the rest of the tournament. Hope to see you again.
Great.
And thanks, congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, we are cutting into a match after that absolutely chaotic ambient sound.
Oh my god!
From the ETB floor. It's all Elias's fault. All his fault.
The whole somebody get them in there and they tell them that they had their the wrong mic was hooked up. So ETB, good at cards, bad at technology. But hey, we are jumping into another match that Dylan Crowley has his entire keyboard invited to this match, so we get to see a little bit of that rainbow RGB technology going here. But it does seem as though it is an amethyst mirror.
Seeing some ruby on Dylan's side. Yeah, so I see the Jeb. It's very interesting. We could potentially see one of the most interesting cards, I think, from the new set is that Peter Pan and Tinkerbell dual shift card, being able to give the entire board evasive. There's a lot of cool interactions going on there. And on the other side, we see some Mrs. Incredibles.
Lots and lots. And there, speak of it, and it will appear. It is the card. They're going to go ahead and full play it for the 6. But now all of their cards do have evasive because of the Peter Pan and Tinkerbell being able to challenge in and getting rid of that. Having to explain that interaction a little bit like, Terrace, get that out of here. It does have evasive now. Shoo. Yeah. So now that Dumbo looks a lot better.
Fake red purple player, man. Come on, Terrace. What are we doing out here? Don't even know what
that card does.
Don't even know what our new red purple dual color card does. Come on now.
It has evasive. It's here, and it's making that Dumbo looking real good. But we have a Junior Woodchuck's Guidebook coming in here. Are we going to have enough ink to go ahead and immediately utilize it? No, we're not. Listen, historically speaking, items have been pretty safe against Ruby and Amethyst. So I think that Guidebook will stick around till next turn.
It's also a purple mirror match. So sometimes, like when we're playing around Demona a little bit, even if we could activate the Guidebook, just getting it out there and not activating it to get some more value out of your opponent's Simona can be the correct play to not lose out on card value here. Here we get to see some typical purple plays. We get to see a Dumbo trigger into a Hades, getting to draw some cards.
Now we are on to a game number 3, and unless Terrace is playing Oops All Amethyst, this could be a mirror match as one of the people that loves to hold strong to the Ruby and Amethyst strategy, or it could be a different flavor of Amethyst. But we do see the Dumbo getting at that trigger, being able to pay 1, gain 1, lure, and draw a card. But
I feel like we rewire my entire brain because I like got away from the purple mirror mindset. So now we're back. We're back in it. We have the evasives. We got the 5/6. We got the Peter Pan. We got 3 Hades on the board. Everyone's drawing cards, and we got to figure out some maybe potential Cheshire Cat math coming in here. I believe we probably made that Mrs. Incredible evasive at the beginning of this turn. So we're gonna be able to choose if we want to get rid of the Peter Pan or the Dumbo.
It's an interesting quest there, being able, I mean, at this point, I would think that you would just take the Peter Pan. I know that leaves the Dumbo up, ready, and active here for a little bit longer, being able to draw more cards, but at least you get rid of the Peter Pan and the Tinkerbell, making sure that you can't turn everything into card draw. But hey, Tara said, no, get the Dumbo out of here. You having any more cards is actually more threatening. And if you want to think about it, the Hades, he's drawn 4 cards off of the inability for Dylan to put the characters under the board. So, hey, we paid 5 or paid 10 to draw 4. Oh,
yeah, it's interesting here because we choose to take out the Dumbo, which lets the Hades that's already drawn cards trade into the Mrs. Incredible, where we could have taken out the Peter Pan and then force them to have another Peter Pan, which they did, and then or trade the Dumbo into the Mrs. Incredible here. But now we're just seeing the big boys. A flying Scrooge is indeed quite scary, but we see 10 ink worth of cards turn sideways, and the Purple Mirror Menace, second star to the right to draw 5 cards, comes in here. Lock in. We're gonna be here for another 20 minutes.
I mean, listen, that is exactly. We've already said he's drawn 4 cards off of the 2 Hades, and now 5 cards off of the second star to the right. If drawing cards could win you the game, Terrace would have done that by now. So I don't think. And a Raging Storm. What a way to finish off, draw a ton of cards, board wipe the board. He is a Ruby Amethyst player through and through as we follow up with Luisa Madrigal and her twin, Luisa Madrigal.
And it looks like Dylan is a little bit lower on cards than we would have expected here after drawing so many. I think he has 2 or 3 right now. But it is one of those times where you are at 11. You need to start building back up a board. But we don't want to play back into another board wipe. But we do see the Demona getting a few extra cards here. Notably, we did keep 1 card in hand, so potentially uninkable, potentially large, or potentially just another Demona. Maybe we want another Demona for next turn.
Maybe I wanted you to not play some kind of crazy location strategy or something. I don't know at this point if you're board wiping and doing something. But hey, it's the 3rd Hades coming in here from Terrace. You got to believe that you're just going to let him draw cards. But we actually took it from the Luisa.
Yep. It's just another.
And a Gaston onto the. Okay, that was a really clean finish as we do see our first Amber card of this matchup and seeing which one is going. I mean,
Raging Storm is an Amber?
Oh yeah, I guess that it's dude.
It's fine.
I got nothing. I looked at the clock and I was like, no, it's only like 9. No, I got nothing. I was gonna be like, I'm tired, but
yeah,
but very be like that.
Very, very good. What's the word? Sequencing from Terrace there, knowing that he had the Gaston in hand, and that's pretty similar sequencing that we've seen from Hades in the past. Of if you already have the removal for something else, choosing to potentially pick something else, force your opponent to remove that card. You get 2 removals for the price of 1. Really, you get a 3/4 on the board for free, and then you get the Gaston to take out the Demona. We're leaving Dylan pretty low on cards, even though we are now in time. The most important thing for Terrace is going to be: can he finish? Can he get to 20?
I mean, he has enough ink and he has approximately 10 to 20 cards in his hand. Those Fens aren't going to be able to quest that much. I mean, we are at 11. If we can continuously fill our hand with this guidebook here, give ourselves a little bit more gas. But we have seen the Raging Storm. There is always a potential for another one, which means that Terrace probably won't win the game. But that also means that Dylan won't win the game either.
Yeah, and this seems to be it's match 2. So the red alert to take out the Dale could usually be very important to take out that effect from the opponent's side, but these fans already trade with those two big cards. And we can see a dash par there. 1-1 with evasive.
Yep, this is an oops all evasive deck. Now the Mrs. Incredible is going to be pretty good answers for that. Not being banished in the challenge as it would. Sven has Challenger. That's how he gets his buff challenging power. But we'll take the 2 damage back, and a Sully coming in, being able to grab a character back from the discard and replay it because we have so much ink.
Yeah, we got all the ink. We are looking here to get as close to 20 as possible. I'm not sure if it is possible. If last turn was his first turn, he will have one more turn, and he only has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more lore, and gets from 6 to 13. unless there's some challenging here. And I also don't believe Dylan can win either unless he plays a few cards that have 2 lore here. So it looks like this match might be getting a draw in game 2.
This table had a 2-minute extension, so they are not in turns yet. So you're saying there's a chance, as we see the Dumbo, 9th wonder of the world, being able to let this Sven go ahead and gain a lore, draw a card, keeping our dash back here as opposed to being okay. Now we go ahead and challenge it. I was wondering if potentially we had that dash par shift line available to us, but that would have been crazy. That's a new card coming in from Attack of the Divine. But
so this absolutely paints things a little bit differently. If time was just called either this turn or last turn, both players probably have some ability to get to 20 here. 15 from Dylan is nothing to sneeze at. With he's playing a morph, my boy. I love that card.
Yeah, a Dumbo is anything, but a morph could be anything, even a morph.
Sure.
Or
it could be another morph.
Yeah, it could be another morph. That would be crazy and cheating, but at the same time, it literally could be anything because it does have that shift ability, and it even includes the potato shift, so that's pretty good.
That's true. So
We're
we do take out one of those Svens. We play the Louisa, going to be able to take out the Dumbo with this Louisa. So we're locking up Dylan's card advantage here. The most important part is, can we get to 20 with the cards we have? Looks like 3, 4, 5. Looks like we're going to 11 here. So it's very possible if Terrace has 2 more turns, it'll be dicey if he has 1.
I know. Everything being 1 questers. Look at these amethyst cards. Only questing for 1. If any of these were able to just shift and quest for 2, do anything else. So not a lot of sneaky lore coming in from this amethyst and amber strategy like we've seen in the past. There's a lot of like uninteractable lore gain that sometimes you can just kind of sneak across that finish line, but amethyst and ruby also doesn't have that ability. So we're gonna have to do this the good old-fashioned way, hoping we have hold on.
There is the shift.
There is the shift. This is what I was talking about, and now that I'm talking about it, I actually can't remember exactly what it does. I think when it quests, you are able to then look at the top card of your deck, and if it's an action, you could play it.
I believe if it's a character, you may play it.
But you have to pay for it. So it is a little bit of so we're gonna look at it and we can
It's a morph!
So we can go ahead and pay to and play that morph if you want to. And it looks like we're going to. So this is kind of a sneaky little card advantage engine. Also, Dash has evasive too. So it works out really well with this deck.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where we are currently at 16, potentially threatening 17. So if we can drop down another 2 lore character, quest with the morph from last turn, this threatens Lorthal on the board. And Terrace, even if he chooses to gain 1 lore with those Mrs. Incredibles next turn, I believe he's only sitting at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which would put him at 19. So he would need something else to cut.
It's a red alert.
We get a red alert here, taking out Haze. That doesn't necessarily change the clock. You would still need something to +2 lore. Maybe like a dash par would be the closest option, I believe. Or if we're just going to have another Raging Storm.
I think, did we quest and go to 18? Is that what that morph did there? I don't know.
The morph quest is 7. The morph quest is 17, but we didn't play another card to get to threaten that Lorthal on our side, because now all we need to do is take out the dash or the morph, and we would only be threatening 19. But obviously, as everyone knows, that morph can be shifted on by anything. So best to think that something with 2 lore would be coming in on top of those morphs.
And I think, did we just go ahead and move the damage with the Luisas to get that other morph up on out of here?
Yeah.
Yep. So there is 1 morph left on the board, but there's not very many things we can shift onto it that will quest for 3. You gotta imagine. Oh my God, would it be hilarious? Would it be hilarious?
Is there anything that shifts and quests for 3? Elsa,
Spirit of Winter. Let's see.
that would be so funny.
It's a dash par into another morph, and we scoop it up here. If that was an Elsa Spirit of Winter, I would have.
I would have popped. I would have popped so hard. Like we thought the same. We were like, shift in purple question. Elsa,
yeah, both of us freaking out at the same time. But it wasn't an Elsa; it was a dash par into a morph. You could have been like a dash par into. We got to get some more. No, we don't. We don't need to give uninteractable instant lore gain to Amethyst again.
I mean, it could have been it could have been dash into dash. Could have been dash
dash
into
dash. There we go. It was basically like a. sorry. We went into a Magic Christmas realm that didn't exist, but shout out to Terrace there taking that one and it not going into.
Very close. Yeah, very nice, very nice. But it looks like we probably will be commentating a game 3. What game 3 will it be? Who knows? Because it certainly is not going to be ETB Elias.
Wait, what do we do? I'm out of here, right? Like
you're good.
I was like, I'm good.
Go to sleep, kid. Go to sleep.
I was like, you guys, I was fading fast. I was like, please, no, wait, no. But I'm out of here. Thank you so much. It was great to cast with both of you guys. So now we get to see Willow and Franz casting together. So it's been an exciting night of the ICL, and I will be back doing something this Friday on my channel. That's where I'm going to be, and we'll be streaming some games of Disney Lorcana, and it'll be great. But I'm going to bed.
Have
I
a good
love
time.
you both. Mwah. Bye.
Good night.
Goodbye. Bye-bye now.
You know, Color's tired when she dipped super early. But hello, Franz. I'm actually sad that we're not going to get to see the third round for ETB because I love to watch Habibi play. And I think it would have been super fun to see his list that he just took to, runner up, right? Finish second place at the CCQ with his Alien song. I don't know what we're officially calling it, but I do think it's really cool. And it would have been fun to see that in action. But it's okay because we've got plenty of other amazing matches to watch. How are you feeling so far? ICL on a Wednesday. Are you liking what you're seeing so far? How are you feeling about the meta?
I always love me some ICL on a Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday, Sunday, wherever I am, whenever I'm on here. I love commentating some ICL. I love how this has taken a bunch of different communities and has really smashed them into one. Brought some really great competition, has I think been a really positive force in this community, and I hope it continues for a very long time. Regarding this meta, I think it's pretty wide open. I think it's a very interesting one. It reminds me a lot of Continentals and Worlds format last season, where both felt pretty wide open, but not many people were competing at a very high level because obviously they were Continentals and Worlds. We have obviously some CCQs going on. We have some LCQs going on. We have big CCS events going on, and then set champs. So we know that some people are going to be taking this format very seriously, but not necessarily at the same level of a DLC format. So I think it's really, really interesting, and a lot of people will be testing out new ideas, especially because it's a newly rotated format. So we're going to see a lot more stuff just be thrown at the wall. We've seen Madrigals. We've seen Touch the Sky Green Steel. We've seen a lot of Eleanors, and we'll see a lot more. And that is obviously going to be a very hot topic forever of that Eleanor card. But I think there's a lot of really interesting stuff, and I am really liking it.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I definitely agree. I think the meta is super wide open, and you make a great point. Outside of, the North American Challenge Championship, there's not really any reason in terms of premier level play to kind of like go super in depth and like top 1% of the meta testing. I think it is like a good time for deck builders to try out new and rogue strategies that can still really shine in fun and meaningful places in other ways. One deck that I'm super excited about, I don't think we got to see it here tonight, at least on stream, but I'll hold out hope that one day I'll get to cast a match for it. Is you mentioned a whole bunch of different lists. The one you didn't mention, Franz, is still Amber and Emerald, but no characters at all. Only actions, only items. Used to be the Kevin deck, but Kevin is no longer in it. Kevin got cut.
No, okay. Kevin. Never any Kevin. It's just a bunch of books and Woody's arm and actions. Are there even any characters still in it?
No, there's no characters in it.
No characters anymore.
Disney Lorcana game developer Brennan DeCandio did put out a list that had 4 Lyle Tiberius Rourke from Wilds Unknown, so they can kind of slowly lore drain. But even that just feels like not as good as all of the other things that you can be doing. So.
Yeah, that is absolutely a nightmare deck to for me as someone who just wants to get my games and get out of there. So sitting across from that deck, commentating that deck, seeing that deck in internal testing, I will grab someone by the collar, smack them around, and just toss them to the side, tell them to stop. But that deck is very interesting. I think it's one of the.
Yeah, super interesting deck. But it sounds like we have our next match ready to go. We're not sure who it's going to be, so let's throw it over to the games and check out what we've got going on here. We're coming back to Triad Group Shop versus Never Shift. I'm seeing Hazed. I'm seeing Alpha. Now, Franz, I am from Florida, so I know both of these players pretty darn well, and I'm excited to see them match up against each other. Both of these players have done well in their own right, whether it be in local events or at premier level. Hazed is somebody that I think a lot of people are very familiar with, and Alpha kind of took his made his claim as the Jafar guy. He was super passionate about Amethyst Steel Jafar. So it's going to be interesting to see what they are playing here. Last round, I'm assuming this team is 1-1. So it's a battle of wits here against Central Florida and South Florida. Excited to see who's going to come out on top.
Yeah, absolutely familiar with Hazed Father. I've had some good conversations with both of them. But I'm excited to see where we go from here. I've talked to many triads, many never shifts. I've talked crap about Florida to both of them because I love talking crap about Florida to anyone who will listen to me, especially people from Florida. It's very fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we are looking in here. We're getting a game 3. I believe Never Shift won last game, so Triad will be on the play here. Always very interesting to see what decks these teams are putting in these slots and what their reasoning is. One of my favorite parts about managing an ICL team is like just putting together these little puzzle pieces and putting different theories in as to why. I think it's really cool to see how other teams do it as well.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, it's easy to forget when we're just watching at home, but there is absolutely strategy involved in what deck is going to go where. And what do you think? Like you mentioned, you said you manage an ICL team. What do you think they're looking for as we see an Omni Droid coming down and then another one being played? So we're gonna get some Omni Droid bots on one side of this. But tell me, why would you pick a deck like Omni Droid bots for round 3? What are you expecting to run into? As it's gonna be a mirror match.
Yeah, so I think right now, at least in my thoughts and opinions, green yellow is going to be in every single deck at least once. Well, so not at least once. It's going to be in there. It's going to be in there once. So you're going to have a 33% chance of seeing it in any 3 of the games. So I think focusing in on either that second or third slot where other teams are going to be trying to snipe an on the play victory is going to be where I want to put a deck like this who has the ability to demolish an early green yellow board with shifting an Omni Droid. In this case, instead of shift and singing a He Hurled His Thunderbolt, we get to shift and sing a Colors of the Wind, draw a card here. I believe you drew 1 card. But it's going to be very interesting seeing how these players go about this mirror. I haven't played it, but I think it's very grindy from what I've seen.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be one to watch for sure, as we do see Alpha inking a Violet Par to play another one there. We did see that Omnidroid V9 able to use its shift ability to get rid of the Omnidroid on the other side, and like you said, still get to at least draw 1 card off of Colors of the Wind. So typically, I would assume, whoever is able to kind of get that little ping damage off can kind of start to accelerate their game a little bit faster. But Alpha having this shift line in Violet available and now playing this guidebook drawing too, maybe there's some room to breathe here and he can kind of start to catch up a bit.
Oh, not this time.
Oh.
We have our own Thunderbolt. This just seems like one of those matchups where these are decks that are very reliant on the shift. So stopping your opponent's shift targets is going to be very huge here. I wonder if we're going to see hopefully a setup for. Oh nope, it looks like we're just going for a Cheshire Cat, a very safe and stable play. I'm not sure how good it is in this matchup because the stats are a little bit weird and not super conducive to the Cheshire Cats, but we are looking to just stabilize here, maybe get some bodies on for a Strength of Urging Fire play.
Yeah, super interesting to see that choice. I believe we've seen it earlier today in some of these bots decks as well. But I think it kind of varies how many of the card players are willing to put into their deck. We do see a Violet Par, super resilient, go into the Inkwell to play another one. And did we just shift again? Oh no, we're singing. Okay, I got scared. I thought he put another card on top of it.
Wait, because
he did.
No, we shifted and then sung a strength to take out that cat.
That was so smooth. It was like he palmed that card. That's all. I was like, did we just shift? He did. He shifted, dealt 2 damage, and sung to do 2 more. So definitely keeping Alpha's board gone. Right? Can't even build one.
Yeah, I've said this before. I'll say it again. In a deck like this, where your opponent is relying on those shift targets to get into these powerful plays, keeping the board narrow is what's going to be the most important part of the game, both for the shift targets and for these Steel Song removals.
Yeah, we go ahead and establish a morph, little imitator of our own and play out a Junior Woodchuck's guidebook. So, hopefully able to introduce an Omnidroid shift. If not, we do have the guidebook there for just a little bit of extra insurance to kind of dig us deeper to find it. As we do see a Hades looking for a deal here. Alpha going to have to decide, does he want to give up this shift line?
Yeah, just another good play from Hayes here, just being able to not super overextend into any crazy plays, but keeping Alpha off of those shift targets. Or just being able to get more cards. We are just in such a good position here. We're able to get that chip lore, push ahead, and eventually just get to a point where Alpha's not going to be able to take it back. Though that shift, that shift Violet coming in very resilient to the Steel Song removals. A single He-Hurled Thunderbolt will not be able to take it out. We would need to play 2 characters plus a strength, but here we get to shift the big boy, the big robot, to get all of these shift targets underneath it back to hand, and we still get to quest. This is, I believe, a 6/6, correct?
8/8 with resist to this one here, sending all those cards as you mentioned underneath it. So we can, should we choose, reestablish some of that ping damage all over again. But like you said, the Violet Par is going to be pretty resilient here. Starting off, we did not choose to draw and discard, I believe, unless I missed it last time. So it's going to be interesting to see what that card was in hand and why Alpha might have chosen to hold on to it. We popped the guidebook to get some more options, play down this Incrediboy, which is going to gain us a lore, but is not going to trigger the draw and discard effect. Looks like we're thumbing up doing something with this Violet Par, but with that 8/8 stat line and resist 2, it's hard to imagine she's going to do too much to that Omnidroid Ultimate iteration there.
Yeah, with a steel deck, it's just always tough to deal with those very large cards. Normally, aggressive decks like the Emerald decks are not going to try and out battle it. They're going to try and just go wider than the shift time will allow. But here in a mirror, we've got all the time in the world, so that 8/8 is going to just be a problem.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. We don't have the resources like the Gaston, for example, that we have in Amber decks to kind of just point and click. This is going to be something that we have to build up a board, get ready, find multiple Thunderbolts plus strength, plus some challenging to potentially get rid of. So that thing is going to be questing real pretty for a long time, but it's going to be up to Alpha to find some other potential answers and maybe control some of the other things on the board. All the while, we know now that Hayes has plenty of Omnidroids in hand. Alpha maybe going to try to make a go of it with a Syndrome shift.
Yeah, that'll be what we try to get back into the game with. However, that is just a card that's going to build your board a little bit wide as well. That's not going to stop the lore disparity plus the board disparity as well. And we know that Haste has taken back those Omni Droids, and we can immediately get rid of the Incredible Boy as well with a double shift to deal 4 damage.
Yeah, getting rid of that Incredible Boy gonna feel so good, gonna stop any potential, shift syndrome quest and put our own big threat out there shenanigans. It does take a lot of cards to do it, but when our board is this wide, we still have that ultimate iteration there. Like I said, questing nice and strong. The Violet, typically a good card, just not feeling like it can match wits against this board. But we go ahead, draw for turn. Let's see, what do we have up our sleeve?
Looks like we're going to be probably trying to take out one of these smaller cards here. And it's important to note that while it was a lot of cards to deal with that Incredible, and it feels like it, like 3 cards just to take out a shift target is a lot. We gotta remember that those 3 cards were gotten back from that Omni Droid shift a few turns ago. So this is essentially house money that we're playing with. It's essentially free 4 damage that we got from just shifting. We essentially just build the same board that we had a few turns ago, except we didn't have the 8/8. Now we have the 8/8.
Yeah, and we do see a Cheshire Cat Inexplicable come down. We have the ink available to us, but we also ink an Omni Droid of our own. We're going to be able to move this damage off of the Violet. Now, notably, moving damage is not the same as dealing damage, and so therefore, this can be a way, albeit a little bit slow, to kind of start chipping away at that bigger Omni Droid, since that resist does make it really hard to deal with.
Absolutely, and that's going to be something that is that Alpha is going to try and really focus in on to get that Omni Droid off the board here, so he can start building up a board of his own.
And look at this, another Omni Droid. This time, this one is going to be the V10 coming down. And because there are cards underneath it, it is a 6/6, but it has resist 2 right now. So we are going to go ahead and challenge into that Violet. Absolutely go on a quest with our other one. We are up to 10 now. And again, it's just looking like a mountain to climb here.
Yeah, it's just very, very big board on Hayes' side, and Alpha is just not able to was never able to keep pace with early shifts of their own, because Hayes was able to take out every single shift target for the first 3 turns.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of control, and it may be one of those things where, because Hayes went first, was able to get that little ping damage off of our own Omni Droid that really accelerated him. Maybe in future games we can try to make a difference here, but Alpha not giving up, staying strong, playing this syndrome, hoping to be able to quest and put an Omni Droid into play.
Yeah, and if you're Alpha going into these next few turns and potentially the next game, what are you thinking about in terms of what you've seen from Hayes' deck, what you've seen from your deck, and how we're going to mulligan for a game on the play and potentially even on the draw if we get there, as we see a Demona come down drawing some cards, but it does look like it is starting to get a little bit out of hand.
Yeah, definitely getting out of hand for sure. You look at the lore totals, we got 10 so far. We're going to go up even more to, I believe, 15. And yeah, I mean, like you said, drew some cards, or yeah, we could do some challenging cleanup as well. So we don't even need to press the lore, because at this point we can just get our lore next turn. It's feeling really, really good for Hayes. And he is not letting up. He's going to sing the colors of the wind, continue to draw, even if it's just the one. That is card advantage going into our hand, and gives us some knowledge of what our opponent's got on the top of the deck there as well, as we pass it on over.
Yeah, this is looking to be essentially over here. Got 7 lore on the board. We are not yellow. We don't have a board wipe. We're not green. We don't have Prince Philip. It is not looking to be good.
Yeah, no, and I think at this point, we inked our biggest Omni Droids as well on Alpha's side. So the only Omni Droid that we really have in the discard is going to be that 1-drop, if I'm not mistaken. So it's not even like we have some big powerhouses either. We would have to be able to discard a card first in order to make the most use of this syndrome. And yeah, I mean, Hayes probably will elect to remove this syndrome in some way. You got to just imagine at this point, he's had it turn after turn after turn. But even if he doesn't, he is feeling really, really good here just based on the amount of lore he has alone. But there it is. We're going to try, right? So Hades looking for a deal. Let's see what Alpha decides to do, saying, nope, just go ahead and take your cards, man. This is all I got to my name.
When it rains, it pours. We're losing the board. We're losing in the lore total, and now Hayes just wants to draw some cards. It's just at this point, I would be looking at Hayes with some tears in my eyes and being like, please stop,
no.
please stop. It's over. I'm already gone.
Yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about. Like, this is like, did he have to remove that syndrome? Probably not. He probably did not have to do that, but he did, and he still quested all the way up to 14. And there's the scoop. I mean, looked obviously incredibly dominant for Hayes there. Gonna go ahead and take that. But I mean, Hayes was on the play. He was able to shift that Omnidroid, I believe it's V9. There's so many of them. V9 to deal that 2 damage to Alpha's Omnidroid to kind of just snowball out from there. Do you think being on the play can make a big difference, or is it really just who sees the right cards win?
I mean, when a matchup like this is really dedicated to getting a 2/2 to survive a turn, and the turn 2 is deal 2 damage, it's going to be pretty heavily like polarizing for the play draw. And like we saw Hayes there, we saw Hayes shift deal 2 to an Omnidroid, shift again deal 2 to a cat, sing strength, kill a cat, and then we saw a I believe we saw Zeus, but we saw the big boy come in to get some quests in, and then we saw another double shift to take out an Incrediboy. I believe we saw a Zeus to take out a Violet Par as well. So it was just turn after turn after turn, and we saw how important that is in a steel mirror like this, of getting the board very fast and then building a board that they are not able to use the seal songs to their favor. Getting those singers off the board, getting those shift targets off the board, keeping yours on the board is going to be usually what leads to victories in steel matchups like this.
And look at this. Alpha gonna go ahead and send back 6 cards. Only wanted 1 of them there. I'm not sure. This might mean that Hayes also sent back a significant number. Maybe he sent back all 7 as well. So both of these players potentially at the mercy of the top of their deck here, not really being able to sculpt their hand as much as they would have liked. In some ways, sure, they got to see a whole bunch of new cards, but that can also be a detriment, as you never really know what you're going to get off the top. If we kept 1, maybe it's that 1 drop, and we're just looking for the shift 2 to come through for Alpha's side.
Yeah, it's tough. I wonder what we're probably looking for a Violet Par on 2 to put on the draw, hopefully to contest the version 9, the 4/3. But if we just have a He Holds His Thunderbolt to take out that Violet Par, there's not much we can do. So it doesn't look like these decks have much in the way of mirror breakers. Someone potentially playing like an Angela, I think, could be really pretty crazy. Just anything that can buff some attacks. Maybe the Lilo. Maybe a 3-drop Lilo would be pretty cool too.
Yeah, absolutely. And we do see that we do have the 1-drop Omnidroid there. Went ahead and inked the Colors of the Wind to establish our 1-drop. So hopefully we will see that Omnidroid V9 come down. If Hayes can establish his own 1-drop, we're inking the Angel. Does he have it? Hasn't passed his turn yet. He might be thinking about it, but he also might. Okay, he chose to do it. Do you think he hesitated for a second because he wasn't sure if he wanted to play it?
It is ye old green steel mirror. I played a Diablo. You play a Diablo. Do you have it? You gotta have it. Better have it.
Yeah, let's see. We're inking an Incrediboy.
Didn't have it.
We don't have it. Could this be the window? If Hayes has his own, does this help him?
If you shift a version 9 Sing Thunderbolt, it's just crazy. It's insane.
Let's see, can he do it here? Neither player having the crazy opening lines that we're talking about. That's the risk when you send back as many cards as they did. Hayes did have to ink a Strength of a Raging Fire to establish that Junior Woodchuck's guidebook. Now, looks like we're going to pass back over to Alpha in a second here and figure out where do we go from here?
Yeah, it's very interesting when we have such polarizing mirrors like this, and we move on from that very first polarizing turn. We're kind of like a dead zone. Like the water is calm. That's where you're the most nervous. Like someone's gotta make a play to break the tide here, and that could just be getting a 3-drop down to sing a strength next turn. And we're starting with that Cheshire Cat. I'm very interested in seeing what Hayes does next.
Yeah, interesting to see the guidebook inked there. I know personally from playing this deck, sometimes the card draw is abundant and sometimes it just doesn't come. Hayes going to go ahead and use his own guidebook there to start drawing cards, seeing if he can find what he's looking for here. But I want to keep track. Alpha's only got 2 cards in hand. I want to see if inking that guidebook comes back to bite him later on. Even if he might get an Omnidroid out early, I wonder if his hand's going to sputter out there. But we do ink a Demona, and it doesn't look like we're doing anything else. So Hayes might be super bricked here as we pass back over.
Yeah, he seems to be having a ton of large characters in this deck, and this deck runs a ton of large characters. So now we are going to play an Angel. That Angel can take care of that Omnidroid, but it looks like we might just be singing a Strength. One card in hand is one more card in hand, and we're going to probably start to quest out for 2 here. This is very important for Alpha just to get that lore on the board. Like I was saying, when we have the board, we need to get that lore. We need to get to a point where Hayes is not comfortably able to run out like a Syndrome on its own, or like just like set up with a small board of shifters. We need to start putting on that pressure.
Yeah, I would have liked to see Alpha use the Angel ability to discard the strengths just to get the extra lore. But, you know, I mean, it happens sometimes. Sometimes we just don't see those things. As we do see the Omnidroid scanning for threats coming down here. I believe there was another Demona hitting the Inkwell, and we're just passing on. I mean, there's not much we can do. It seems like you said, just high character after high cost character.
Yeah, we are looking to potentially continue our onslaught for Alpha here. We have the board, but that Omnidroid is a very, very important shift target. We are definitely going to be very careful going forward.
Yeah, I'm not sure how many cards Alpha has in hand, but boom, all of a sudden, a guidebook just appears on the screen. And again, another card, You Broke My Smolder, I believe it's called.
Yep.
Did I say that correctly?
You did.
Is that's not even in the deck list? Oh my gosh, canceled. No, but I mean, that's going to allow us to discard our hand, which thankfully we had none, and draw 2 cards, which might be why, as the Thunderbolt comes down, might be why we were feeling good about inking some things earlier.
The removal off the top is just the best removal.
Yeah, absolutely. You love to see it as we're shooting up to 5. So, I mean, this has kind of just been both players on either side of the board. You know, in game 1, Hayes was controlling. Now Alpha is controlling. And how does Hayes crawl back? We're going to go up to 5 ink here, but without a shift target, it just doesn't feel like a really impactful number for this deck.
It's such an interesting deck because normally what a lot of decks want to do into decks like this is to start to diversify like the threats on the board, start to fork with maybe a Morph and a small Violet or an Omnidroid to start forcing more answers than one. But when we get to a point where we're low on card advantage and we're just trying to curve out and they open an answer every single turn, that's when you start to fall behind. Like getting those double shift targets out can potentially lead to getting that early shift better, even if it doesn't feel like it in the early turns.
And here we go. We shift our own Violet Par Super Resilient, allowing us to draw a card. We're going to take a second, think about what we want to discard. And we do choose to discard that Omnidroid Ultimate Iteration there. So now we have a big beefy boy in the discard, but no Syndrome on the board yet. Also did... You know, maybe we have another one in hand because next turn we would have had enough ink to shift that. So it's going to be interesting to see as we go up to 7 lore, pass it on over.
Yeah, and but we do finally get to see a semi-beefy card stick on Hayes' side. So he hurled his Thunderbolt to take out either an Angel or the Omnidroid or the Cat is very possible.
As we see a syndrome of our own, he's out for revenge here. So next turn, Hayes might be able to make something happen as well with some of the big beefy Omnidroids in his own discard pile. We do see him exert this Violet Par to use the Thunderbolt. As you said, do we choose the Cheshire Cat or the Angel?
It's very interesting here. It's like I think it might be the cat or the Omnidroid. Like we said, we've seen the discard, but no, it turns out to be the Angel here. We are letting a potential shift go through. We have the ability for the Violet Par to punch the other Violet Par, and then Cheshire Cat move that damage back to the Violet Par. So we are letting this Violet Par essentially go in an attempt to clear the Angel.
Yeah, it's interesting why that was the threat of choice. Remains to be seen whether or not that was the right choice. It's always hard to say, though, especially not knowing what's in either of these players' hands, as Alpha's having a think here. So clearly it's not as cut and dry as we might have thought. He's thinking over his options. One thing to note is even if he does have an Omnidroid shift in hand, he can't probably use all of his ink to do that and the Cheshire Cat boost ability. So we're kind of trying to think about what do we want to do here and what is the most efficient way to deal with our opponent's board.
Yeah, it's probably going to be 2 songs at this point, or a he hurled his Thunderbolt plus a shift of the 4/3 Omnidroid can also get there to take out the Syndrome. But it looks like we are doing the Violet Challenge plus the Cheshire Cat move here. So it's going to be very interesting to see where we go, because we could still do that other play if we have a 1 or 2 drop with an ink to and a strength to get there.
Okay, we are going to go ahead and shift in Omnidroid. This time we're going to shift the V10. So we do have a 6/6 that now has resist +2. We're going to use that to go on a quest. So we are up to 9 here, but Hayes does have a Syndrome on the board ready to quest, and I believe an 8-drop Omnidroid in his discard as well.
Yeah, so we do get to potentially build back some board. We see another Syndrome here. This is how we start to get back into it, which is just play beefy boys of our own. But Alpha does have the lore advantage here. We're taking a turn off to build up this board on our own. Even though Alpha has 5 lore on the board, we get to go to 14 plus whatever Alpha plays. It's a little scary, but it might just be what we need to claw back.
Yeah, absolutely. Hayes Inkwell is confusing me here. I'm gonna assume he has 6 ink and it's just 4 and 2. Maybe by the way that it's stacking with the glare, it's a little hard to see. And yeah, I mean Alpha has 6 ink, so Hayes probably has enough ink to do that. But let's see. Like you said, we went on a quest with this Syndrome, and now we have a couple of options. We're gonna go ahead and grab that ultimate iteration. It's gonna be added to the hand. And you got to imagine he's going to play it as well. I mean, come on.
I would assume so. I would be very surprised if he didn't.
There's no better Omnidroid in the deck. This is, after all, the V9, the V10, after everything. This is the one. This is the best iteration, the ultimate iteration. So we want to see that come on down. And I'm sure we'll get that in just a moment. As we're waiting for play to continue, do you think this is going to be enough for Hayes to, or excuse me, is this going to be enough to keep Hayes? No, what am I saying? Yes, Hayes, get back in it. Thoughts, Franz?
It is very close. We do get to really put a lot of stats on the board. Is it enough to really stop here? Because the Syndromes aren't necessarily taking out the Omnidroid. They would have to work together to take out the Violet Par, and we still do have a Cheshire Cat on the board, so we can still move some damage around and hopefully get some stuff to survive. Plus, we have whatever we play next turn from Alpha, so we can potentially go to 14, drop another 2 lore thing, maybe an ultimate droid of our own. It's interesting. It's going to be very, very interesting. It's going to be close. I would say Alpha is still a little bit favored from this position, but Hayes has brought it back from a lot less favored.
Yeah, I think it's definitely fair to say for sure. And I think looking at, where Hazed is by this turn compared to where Alpha was last game. I do think Hazed is much better and much farther along than Alpha was, but like you said, that doesn't mean that he's completely out of the woods here. And it's gonna just kind of be, it's really gonna depend on the next couple of draws for both of these players. I believe Alpha only has 1 card in hand, whereas Hayes now has 3 cards. So hand health a little bit different. Alpha, though, having this card like Violet Par, hopefully able to draw into some more heroes to continue, drawing and discarding and filtering the hand a little bit. So I mean, I don't know. It'll be super interesting. I also think it's interesting to see him play down this syndrome before, questing and putting out the Omni Droid. Makes me wonder what else is in hand as well, if he thought the syndrome was the best choice there. So I don't know how many Omni Droids he has after this.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably either the biggest thing that we have, or we have other ways to discard a big Omni Droid and play more next turn to hopefully get multiple big characters on the board. Seems like there's a judge call. I would have assumed that. So we will get back to the action as soon as we can.
Yeah, absolutely. We have the most amazing judges here at the ICL. We love to shout them out any chance we get. So I love when we have a judge call, because I get to be like, thank you, judges, for being here and helping us out. Lore guides, I should be saying. Thank you to the lore guides who are working tirelessly with us every single season. We couldn't do it without them. And they do stuff like this. They make sure that everything is in order. They keep the game state up in check. So that way me and Franz just get to sit here, chill, production, Wonderland in the back. It's to chill. And we just get to know that everything is good and well. Look at that, there's the 4th ink there. I was like he definitely has 4 ink somewhere, but I just can't see it.
Yeah, it's like shout out specifically to Ellie. She is the one that I go to every single week to confirm that the Lazy Boy submissions are good. I bombard her with messages around 12:30 to 1 o'clock, and I'm sure she has an alarm at this point that just is scheduled to check Franz's DMs and yell at him if something bad has happened. So thank everyone for the lore guides, Ellie specifically, and I hope that we continue to have absolutely fantastic staff at this ICL event.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out lore guide Ellie there. And I think also that's what makes ICL, kind of sets it apart from anything else out there, especially in regards to online leagues and the way that this is handled. It really is approached as if it is, a DLC level event, and you are held to that same standard. And it's great, to know that you're going to have true, good, clean games. And just because it's on webcam or it's not physically in person doesn't mean that everybody's, it's not a free for all, right? So we're going to make sure that everything is squared away here. And hopefully we will be back to play very, very soon. But as you can see on our side, you're not missing any of the action. Okay. And I want to know, between Central Florida and South Florida, who is going to take the W there? I personally am a little biased. I'm from Central Florida. I want to see Never Shift. Some of my very good friends are on there. Shout out Missy Enchanted. I want to see them take it. I want to see them do well. But I know the Triad Group Shop is nobody to sneeze at, and they have some very amazing players there. So as soon as we know something, we will let you know.
Absolutely. All right. Willow, tell me. Oh, we're back. Are we back?
We aren't back. Ask me your question. I want to hear it.
Tell me, Willow, what have you been messing around with, and what have you been feeling the best? Say you had just a CCQ that you weren't. I see things happening.
There we go. Okay, we're back.
So
hold on, production is answering
here as well.
Okay, great.
Can hear me as well. There was just a deck registration error, and so unfortunately Alpha did get a game loss because he was playing with a card that he did not have registered. So most likely he copy pasted it wrong. It unfortunate happens. But they decided to still play it out for stream, but for the records it is 2-0 for Triad there. But they're gonna keep playing to see what would happen.
Okay, so there you go. It is going to be 2-0 Triad Group Shop, but we get to see what would have been. And yeah, I mean, well, Luke said it. It happens all the time, especially in online, right? Like you're not literally placing your whole deck. You're sitting there copying your Dreamborn, and then you realize, oh, my list updated minute by minute, really. So it happens. It's all good, and we keep moving forward as we did see a challenge there onto the Syndrome, but another one still standing tall.
Yep. Everyone always, before an event, double, triple check both your sleeves and your deck list. Count them multiple times. Count it before you de-sleeve. Count them after you de-sleeve, and then count them again when you re-sleeve. Always make sure that you have your best interest in heart and that you are keeping everything on the up and up. Do not mess up your deck list. Is like one of the only things you can control of a tournament.
Yeah, but yeah, it really does. I've done it, and then I was like one of my first tournaments.
Everyone's done it. Like every TCG player will go through that period. There will be multiple situations in a TCG player's life where you just have just a dumb mistake. Something dumb happens, and you lose a game because of it. You get a match loss because of it. Sometimes you even get DQ'd because of it. Who knows? Depending on how bad the mistake is. But everyone needs to go through some mistakes to learn, to go forward, learn from their mistakes, and get cleaner with both their play and their preparation.
Yeah, but the fact that it was caught, again, such a testament to the judges. I mean, they're there watching the games, and so shout out to them for catching that. But here we go. We're pressing forward. A Syndrome goes, into the discard, but then two more appear onto the screen. We're going to use this ultimate iteration to do some challenging, I'm assuming. I don't think I saw anything leave the board, so I got confused. But or maybe it didn't. Maybe it didn't.
We don't have anything shrunk, right? What happened?
I don't know. I think maybe we were just fixing the dice. maybe we weren't challenging, and we were just fixing the dice, so it just looked like a challenge. But either way, the board is getting bigger and bigger on Hayes' side. And where Hayes was initially behind, he's actually looking pretty good.
All right, looks like we have put the big boy Omnidroid back into the discard. We are still sitting at 11 lore here, so we are starting to lose the board here. 3 Syndromes in a row to play some multiple bots. This is exactly what we were envisioning when we played those cards. This is what was gumming up Hayes' hand earlier, and now we're starting to see the fruits of that. We're able to start to build back up. Come back from the 4 to 11. 11's not crazy, and Alpha's board is also not that crazy. So we're starting to really take over the board here.
Yeah, absolutely. As Violet Bar comes down, we do have just a little bit of damage hanging around for that Cheshire Cat to be able to move, but unfortunately, just not going to be quite enough. Oh, but with the Angel discard, we might be able to make it. No, because there's resist +2. Ignore me. Here we go. We are doing some challenging using the Angel to put 2 damage onto the Syndrome. Then we are challenging with the Violet Par. Now we have enough damage to move with the Cheshire Cat, right? What's happening? I don't know. We're changing things and we're moving things and we're thinking things through. We want to definitely put damage on it with the Angel. So we did that. We discarded the Cheshire Cat to put damage. But then I think we were rethinking because we were like, wait a second. This is not the math that I thought it was. And so we issued a take back.
Everyone's doing some math here, and it's late at night over here on the East Coast. Gotta give us a little bit of leeway here. So it looks like we're going to use the Cheshire Cat, move some damage off of either the Angel or the Violet back. So we're moving the Angel.
Okay, we fixed it. We had cards in hand. We needed to get rid of cards in hand as well and have the resist. And we've done it, folks. We got to boost and we got to do the things and we got to challenge and we did pretty good cleanup on this board. But like you pointed out earlier, if this Syndrome goes on a quest, I do believe we now have multiple Omnidroids in the discard ready for it to come back.
Yeah, and we do, and like I said, we have that Syndrome ready and raring to go. We are starting to build some lore on our side too, threatening to 18 here. I will assume that big Omnidroid is probably going to take out that Angel though.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where we go with here. Starting off by drawing some cards, we were actually able to pop 2 guidebooks there. Now we're going on a quest. Now that we have the cards in hand, extra cards in hand, we do go ahead and use this syndrome quest to put another Omnidroid Ultimate Iteration onto the board. So that 8/8 Resist 2 is back. Plus, we got a Morph hitting the board and a Violet Par. So every time you start chopping down my characters, they come back in full swing as we do get a challenge with the Omnidroid, like you mentioned.
Yeah, and we have taken out the Angel, one of the bigger threats remaining here on the board. Right now, we just have some Violet Pars and a Cheshire Cat. It looks like we are starting to scoop it up here to move on from this game. Triad taking it over Never Shift, the South Florida boys taking it over the Central Florida boys. Willow, I believe you may have cursed the Central Florida boys.
It might have been the caster curse, because the second I was like, man, I want to see Central Florida do something, they were like, boom, necklace registration, you're out of here. But what good sports to be able to continue to play it out and play it for fun. And again, like, these 2 players are players that definitely know each other, have seen each other at events probably very often. I know Hayes travels up to Central Florida all the time for some of the bigger events, same with Alpha. So you gotta imagine it's all in good fun. But there is some bragging rights going to South Florida, as hopefully we'll get Hayes in here very soon to talk about the win. But yeah, I mean, always fun to see a mirror match. And like, who would have thought, we went from dogs mirror matches to Omnidroid mirror matches. What did you say, production? Sorry. I didn't hear what he said, but who would have thought? Okay. From dogs to droids. Man, this new meta is awesome. Post rotation format, everybody. We're here.
Yeah, it is what it is. And like I said, a mirror, but we do get to get out of the on the play, on the draw mirror curse here from Hayes. And he was able to be patient, wait with those syndromes and those big robots, and eventually just take control of the board back and flip it.
Yeah, flip it indeed. So I mean, clutching up when it really mattered most, but also on the other side, like Alpha not see, we were like holding our breath. Is it going to be the Violet shift? Is it going to be the Omnidroid shift? It was neither. We had to play the guidebook on 3. You hate to see it. But as we're waiting for the interview, thank you all for being here. ICL on a Wednesday. Those are some very, very good games. We're looking forward to hearing from Hayes. And as we saw, ETB, the feature match table here against ATLUS or ATL US, coming out 2-0 as well. So it's we're off to the races here on this format, and it's been incredible to see all of the different decks that have popped up.
Yeah, absolutely. And we are looking to potentially get into another game as well going forward. If we do get hazed, if we don't, we can get into another game. It's last game of the night. It's almost 10:30. I'm trying to get out of here, go to bed, but I do want to see some more games here. Show me another Eleanor game even. I'll take more Eleanor.
He's crazy. We don't want to see more Eleanor. She's all over the place. She's too regal. I believe you were asking me if I were to go to a CCQ, what I would take.
Yeah.
I have been playtesting so many different things. I honestly should stop doing that and just pick one. But like, I did playtest the Kevin deck without Kevin in it. I playtested bots. I did not like bots, I've decided. All respect to R&B though. And I playtested Habibi's Alien song. I thought that was actually pretty schnasty with it. And most recently, I have been on Anataday's Emerald Steel list, and it's feeling pretty good. But you gotta be big brain for that sometimes.
What a fun deck, man. Just touching the sky, drawing 4 cards, getting some odd curves going on. Like all the steel decks want to go 1, 2, 3 strength. We're going 1, 3, 2, 1 strength. How about that?
Yeah. It is. It's a different way to play for sure. And there he is. Triad champion here.
What's going on?
Clutching up. Listen, it doesn't matter how you got the win because you got it. But also, as we saw when you guys, like great friends do, played it out just for fun. You ended up kind of turning the corner there. Talk to me about that game 2 where like we were holding our breath. We're like, oh my gosh, if he has the shift, to deal the damage, it's over. If he has a violet, even he's going to be feeling good. When he didn't have it, were you feeling good, or your hand was still kind of high cost? Were you not quite out of the woods yet?
Yeah, when he did, I almost inked and passed turn 1 without playing the droid because it's kind of just such a blowout. But you just kind of like have to make him have it, because if I ever found my droid, I had like colors and Zeus in hand, so I kind of would have popped off. But yeah, I got lucky he didn't have it. And then with the unfortunate circumstance towards the end, I kind of told him, I was like, look, man, if this makes you feel any better, I have literally 3 syndromes in hand. Like I had 2 on board and I had 1 more. And I was like, I don't know if you would have came back from that. So I'm glad we got to play it out. And I know he was a little down about it, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just absolutely crazy seeing those three syndromes. Even early in the game, we could tell that your hand was a little bit mucked up with some larger cards. Playing down those Woodchuck Skybooks, not really worrying about the board. Currently, you had the Omnidroid until it got blasted by the aerial. What were you thinking when it started to just come like go turn after turn without you really being able to do anything?
I knew the turn I played the Syndrome, I was like, all right, if Syndrome lives, I think I win. Because of where my hand was at. He was kind of just like sputtering out, which that's the thing I was telling him about that specific list with the Smolders is you kind of don't need Smolder when you're playing purple. You have so many ways to draw that like Smolder makes you empty your hand, so you kind of have to ink some of the cards you may not want to or get rid of them. Now look, discarding's great in a droid deck because you're going to get them back, but I like keeping good cards in my hand. Like you saw game 1, I'm just popping off because I'm all the removal that I had.
Oh yeah.
You can't really do that with Smolder because you have to really empty out and then play it. So it's I don't know. I think that card it's probably okay in some of the other steel versions, like if you're playing red steel. But with purple, there's so much draw. Like I'd rather play Hades.
I completely understand. And you were playing those Hades. They were coming down.
Yep.
Yeah, no, it was super awesome to watch. I think you're a really innovative deck builder, and I think that you're somebody that's piloted really interesting lists. Like obviously you're known for Blurple, even before Blurple, like anybody even bothered to look at it. And so it's fun to see you playing a list like this, because I do think it's still slightly rogue, even if it's starting to see a lot of play. Just the idea that an archetype can be this strong. We mentioned, Franz was saying, you kind of have to be strategic sometimes in the ICL about where you place a deck. And I don't want you to give away any triad goo or anything like that, so say what you can, but what was there consideration for putting this deck last? Was there a deck you were hoping to see, or was it kind of just the way the cookie crumbled and everybody could play?
Ooh, that's a loaded question for tonight. I'll say we kind of just had to play those colors based on the cards that people had available.
Okay.
That's the easy answer. But I will tell you, I play way too much Lorcana.
Oh yeah.
And I've probably played over 1,000 games in this season already.
Oh.
And this is the least rogue deck that is in my deck profile, if you will. I think I'm up to I don't know what the max is. I'm sure I'm gonna get a message at some point like, dude, stop making decks. Because I just keep scrapping it, starting a new one kind of thing. This is definitely the least rogue. But honestly, I piggybacked off R&B from his showing at the CCQ,
Mm-hmm.
and that deck was already built so well, and I kind of just added Hades and a couple other things to it. So I told him after, I was like, dude, I'm really good at taking an amazing deck list and making it worse. So what do you think about Hades? So yeah, it's that was really the only thing. It kind of does its thing, and when it doesn't, it feels a little hard. But Violet is such a good card in the meta right now.
Oh yeah,
she can almost play in any deck, and you can have a shot, right? Because it counters Chernobogs, and yeah, it's just a great deck. Great card.
Absolutely, man. Fantastic plays. Hope you guys keep going. I hope to see you guys going forward again. Any other shout outs besides the R&B man himself?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll shout out Triad, my team. Thanks for everybody playing tonight. I know it was hard to get some cards together. Thanks for putting up with all the deck lists that I send you guys in the group chat all the time. Shout out to my wife for putting the kids down tonight, because I know that's probably the biggest sacrifice to make for the night. Yeah. So yeah, I have 2 under 2, so it's I have 3 total, but 2 under 2, so it's always a nightmare at the night. So yeah, that's probably all my shout outs. Specifically Hector, our team captain. He's been coaching us up, so big shout outs to him.
Awesome, man. Fantastic showing. Great 2-1 for you guys. Good luck the rest of the way, and I hope you have a wonderful night and week.
Awesome. Appreciate y'all. Thank you guys. Especially you guys in the staff. Sorry, forgot that.
Of course, man. Oh, you're great, Hayes. I know we're going to pull you out in a second, but while you're still sitting here, I think you're awesome.
All right. You guys too. You too.
Oh,
we'll
man.
see you, though. Take care. Close it out.
Get us out of here, Luke. There we go.
I mean, you guys were you were pumping each other up so much. I
will say,
I had to just
we
let you
close out. Genuinely, like the South Florida guys are so awesome. Even if I was, gesturing about Central Florida, but like Hayes, super awesome competitor. He mentioned Hector. Like all of them are just really great, and it's good to see their hard work. And I thought it was sweet that he recognized that sometimes when we're so dedicated to the game, it's because we got families back home helping us sit down and play for the ICL on a Wednesday. So what a beautiful way to end the show.
Yep. And during that interview, game 3 of Habibi versus Markov happened in the Amber Steel mirror match. An entertaining thing happened. Habibi at 8 a.m. Posted a deck list in chat and was like, "This is my deck list." And then he said what round he was playing in, and that he actually posted his full 60. People thought he was joking, but he posted his full deck list there. And Amazing. They played a mirror, and Markov drew double Lilo and Stitch duo, or is it duo shift or combo shift? It's duo. Not duo. It's just
it's combo. Like it's
combo
just
shift.
Yeah, it's just normal. Yeah,
the partner shift or whatever. You can
it doesn't have to be both. Is the important distinction? Yeah.
The either or shift. And
yeah.
Just kind of ran away with it there.
Wow. So
in the span of that interview, the third game happened. It was like
that's what you get for posting your deck list out here trying to BM. It's crazy.
I mean, I actually thought it was pretty entertaining because
it's super entertaining.
No one believed that was his actual.
I fully believe. I saw
he's done it like 3 times. He's done it 3 times. It's the first time I think he's done it. Like actually posted his deck list.
Listen, it's always a good day when Habibi gets home.
What a jokester! What a jokester!
Oh man, no, but I mean, either way, 2-1 for ETB, and also seeing some South Florida rivalry, getting to see some of that on stream is nice as well. Friendly rivalry. Do we have updates on our other? There was a third one as well, right?
So we watched the Triad versus Never Shift because they were the only ones that it was not resolved in the first 2. Inkatink took down Impact TCG. I did not check to see who won their third game match, I should say. It looks like Impact took it, so good for the tiebreakers every all down it. For the people who did not get that victory, a little bit of tiebreaker is always nice. It's going to keep it a very close matchup. No one's jumping ahead of the rest of the pack yet.
Keeping it good and clean, and it's going to be a fight, as it always is. So I'm excited to see. ICL's back, guys. We're here. We're doing it, and it's been really fun. Even just these past 2 days to start learning about all the new teams and then also see some of our old Titans. So we're back. Be here every Tuesday and Wednesday watching the Illumineers Champion League.
Very exciting. Can't wait.
Oh, yeah. Is there any shout-outs either of you'd like to do before we raid?
Obviously, shout out to the lounge and the lazy boys. We're trying to do our best to go back to back here, match ETB, and hopefully, and also shout out to just the lounge.
Just the lounge.
Just the lounge.
You know what? I'll piggyback on that. Also, shout out to the lounge because I was very graciously welcomed in there as a guest. And you guys are like the place that I get all my deck lists now. I ask so many questions in there. Super helpful, friendly community. Which is funny because I feel like people see Braden on Twitter and they're like, "Oh, the lounge must suck." The lounge is great, guys.
Wow.
I always got to give him grief when I can.
I mean, everyone. You aren't a true lounger if you don't give Braden grief at some point.
But
so
besides
that just means that RMB is the biggest lounger of them all.
Absolutely.
And on that note, we will see you later.
Amazing.
All right, and we should be done. Oh, yeah, I'll turn the virtual camera back on for you.